Hello, welcome to the Tabletop Sports Network.
Home of tSports.
Yeah, we cracked, yes! Hello. So welcome to the show. We are live here in Sheffield. Oh, we didn't do the curtain. We'll pull this. There you go. Pulling the curtain on the show. So welcome. My name's Rob. This Benjamin. And we are here to do some big games of Warhammer. We got an amazing team.
We do. Yep. The Slaughter Troop.
Yeah, with the Slaughter Troop are here. So Benjamin's going to be doing coverage with me, as well as Nathan Prescott, who's currently doing table bossing. You'll be hearing something live in the field from him in a bit. We've also got Mr. Owen Jackson, who'll be bringing you all the infield reporting news, which is super exciting. Tom Layton's on the stats with all the hot goss. And then we've got Matt the intern doing really well.
The new intern.
Yeah, so it's going to be... Oh, Restef, thanks very much. So we're doing three games of coverage this round. Yep. Sheffield Slaughter is Warhammer's oldest fantasy event.
We've come back to the 70s here.
Benjamin, how do you feel about this venue?
Yeah, I think that megabus we took yesterday might have gone back in time. It's charming. It's very, very charming.
It is. It's a working man. It's a beautiful working man's club located in Sheffield. And if you don't know what a working man's club is, just a picture scout. Watch Phoenix Nights, the TV show. That's basically what you're looking at. There are 80 players here. A really cool fact about the 80 players that are here, even though it's one of the oldest events in the world, is there's about 40% of the field are brand new.
Yep, there's a couple of people two people who it's their very first event ever.
Yeah, which I think that's actually a very cool stat. I know that like some events really want like big ticket names, like you, Benjamin. They want you attending. Yeah, but for me, I think that's one of the most exciting features.
Yeah, especially for a tournament that is this old. It's the 23rd Sheffield Slaughter, and so you'd think that might put people off. Certainly, newer players might think. I know they don't want to go to a big tournament like this, an established one, because you think it's going to be a bit scarier. And no, it's not. It's super friendly, really good atmosphere, loads of great guys here.
And of course, if you've been following along on Twitter, we've been doing the hot goss on exactly who's attending. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Luke Morton is here.
He is here.
His
whole family cheering him on from the side.
You and me watched him win his very first Age of Sigmar tournament in resounding fashion at Facehammer.
He did.
What did you think of him as a player?
I was incredibly impressed by him. I thought he was really reserved. He did not sort of blow all of his once per game abilities. He was just very considered. He stayed back. He didn't blow all of his eel zaps early on. He just played a really good, really tight game. I actually learned quite a lot from watching him. On that stream of just not committing too early and just...
His resource management was excellent.
Resource management, exactly.
Yeah, really excellent. Really excellent. But as well as, obviously, gamers of Luke's caliber here at the event, we also have people like Lee Bromley, in a full cow suit right now. Is that a onesie? Is that what they call that, Benjamin?
That is a onesie, I believe.
That is a gorgeous onesie. There is someone dressed as a snake. The Scribes of War here, so there's all the good gamers. There is. Speckles is here. So it's honestly an electric field. Now, we haven't had... The lists have come in on the day, so after lunch we'll start bringing you the meta stats and how they compare to the worldwide stats, win percentages. But the takeaway from this weekend that you guys don't need us to tell you is the bad guys obviously are Tzeentch. Tzeentch are the bad guys. Tzeentch are who we don't want to win, but who are statistically most likely to take out the event. Although we don't know currently how many Tzeentch armies are in attendance.
No, I was coming here expecting to see 70 Tzeentch players.
Out of 80?
Out of 80, at least. Oh no, 80 then. 80. Everyone. Just Tzeentch versus Tzeentch every table. Why not?
Exactly. But we won't know. But we do have a Tzeentch force playing, and we're going to jump to our 3 games now. So on...
Yep, stop there. Well, she'll try and cast her spell then. I believe that's all my stuff.
Yes, so JJ's put some buffs up. Forge fire on the Iron Drakes, and he's cast up a bridge.
Choice of whether to give first turn, and it looks like he's given it to JJ. And JJ's just he's got a few hero phase now. He's putting some buffs up. Yeah. Okay. 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 So he's put the buffs on the Iron Drakes. He's cast a bridge. He's teleporting them out there from behind the lines to in range of these Marauders. The Mark has obviously put out a screen, knowing that bridge was in the list, knowing how much damage those Iron Drakes are going to do. So I'd imagine he's going to mince that screen, but
yeah, they're on. They got the -2 round. He rolled the 2 up, so they're 3s and 3s -2 1 damage.
So yeah, so he'll definitely go through that screen. He's playing it still quite defensive. He hasn't overextended there. He's still in the corner. Mark probably doesn't have anything that can reach him there. Didn't see JJ measuring that out, but he's surely at a safe distance.
Do you think he's going to be progressive with the Phoenix at all, or do you think he's going to just keep it in there, giving out its aura?
Yeah, you'd probably keep him at the back there, wouldn't you? I think with the Marauders are going to go down from the shooting, and so he's probably not going to have a target to charge there. Really, you don't want to be committing something like that too soon.
I think we've got the our glorious leader Rob back.
I like being named after Kim Jong-un, definitely. That's there we go. We just had some small technical issues, which with missing Scrivo on the tabletop, I was able to. And I also heard from Nathan. So I'm right in thinking we might go live now to our table boss Nathan Prescott. He's going to let us know live via the audio, if he's listening, what is happening on that table right now.
So hello. Give first turn to JJ. JJ the Soul Scream Bridge. Oh, we see the Phoenix moving straight up. So the Soul Scream Bridge, over which he's plonked some Longbeards and some Iron Drakes, a Rune Lord and a little Wizard. They're probably going to have a bash at those horrors in front of them. The Longbeards, having had Forge Fire, the reroll 1s to wound, and then JJ's now just moving up all of his other shooting, so it does look like those horrors are gonna take a load of bullets to the face.
Thank you very much, Nathan Prescott. I know you guys said the audio is choppy. Okay, awesome, thank you. We will be able to do something about that in not too long. Right, so jumping over onto table 2, we've got the Dunga Man himself.
The Dungas.
The Dungas. Nikos himself is running around with some Dungas. There they are on the tabletop. I'll try and get a close-up. Benjamin, what are the Dungas representing?
The Dungas are representing a Mawtribes army. It is mostly BCR, and two big Dungas that you can see sort of here and here. Oh.
There you go.
Two big Dungas. That's a Frostlord on Stonehorn and a Huskard on Stonehorn. He's got a nice Brow Hunter that'll be in the Scar formation with two units of 2 Frost Sabers, and then he's got 15 Yetis, which is a very left field choice.
It's super left field. Let's be real.
And
so yeah, those they are beautiful Dungers.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like a Dunga? How do you feel about all the Yetis generally?
Yeah, we don't see them very often, but they do have this pile-in from 6 inches away, which is a really, really good mechanic, especially in this meta now with so much always strikes first.
And because it's so unique, right? Surely that's going to be something that will come a cropper for some people.
Yes, exactly. It will catch people out. That's them, they're movement 9, so they can pile in 6, so they've got a 15-inch threat range without even rolling any dice. I think if they're within a bubble of the Huskard, then they will be on 2s to wound. And they also have, I think one of them passes off an ability to let them strike at the beginning of the combat phase as well. So even if they're not 6 inches away, they can't get caught out by any charge.
So we've just seen in the Khorne shooting phase, though, which is not something I ever get to say very often.
No.
As you can see from that corner army at the bottom, it's got those 2 skull cannons. So it's got a skull cannon here, and the other skull cannon is located here, and they've shot right into this Dunga, so this Frostlard on a I think it's the Huskard on Stonehorn, and has done 6 damage to him straight away.
It's not an insignificant amount of damage to a Stonehorn. It's hard to do 6 damage to a Stonehorn, so to do it with a skull cannon in the first turn.
Yeah, well, so he did save of that 6 damage. He saved 2 of the 5 plus DPRs. But it's very interesting. Normally, we see output come from Slaughter Priest, right?
Yeah.
We see those 3d6 mortal wounds from 3 Slaughter Priests because there's always 3.
Yeah.
And that's where we see a lot of that damage come from. I think you guys should be able to see. There's a Dunga. There's the Dunga taking. I think Doug is a little bit at the start of the show, I'm not going to lie.
I was having a good look at them before.
What did you think of them?
Yeah, he's done a very good job. Some really excellent green stuff in on there, actually, to blend that head into the Stonehorn body.
Yeah, it looks great. Well, so before we talk about the rest of this game, and we go look at Table 3, which has got a cool Ogre Mawtribes army,
yeah.
we're going to go to our man in the field, Owen Jackson, and he's going to let us know what's going on at the rest of the event.
Cheers, Rob. Here we are, Tabletop Sports Network at the Davies Sporting Club in Sheffield. I was going to say sunny Sheffield, but the sun's dropped a little. But yeah, well, here we are. We're at the world's longest running independent Warhammer tournament. AD told me earlier that it's been 23 years it's been going. So yeah, a lot of history. A lot of dice have been rolled within these 4 walls, and more will be done so this weekend. So yeah, obviously we're in the deployment phase for most games. Looking around the hall, they've got 80 players. Some people started pretty quickly and are getting into combat early, but there's some people still feeling their way into turn 1. I'm going to keep it short and snappy because we've got lots of stuff to look at. So I'm going to just give you a few highlights of what's going on the tables. So we're playing Total Commitment. The overall I've looked at is there's lots of Stonehorns. I think I've seen at least 4 or 5 Nagashes, 3, 4, 5 Lord of Changes. And then the biggest deployment of the morning so far is the 10 Jello shots and a pint, which is on table 3. Lee Bromley having the best time. Yeah, they're having a great time over there. So looking through the tables, I've got 7 tables to bring you. Table 4, we've got Andy Hughes, the local Dragon Slayer. He's brought his 3-drop Fire Slayers to face off against Colin Mathers, Obiana Gash. Table 22, I've got Steve Wren, the TO at Warhammer World, bringing Slave to Darkness Archeon with Gable Huddleston and his big War. Now, 2 guys that I think could do really well this weekend, Mike Stewart with his Fire Slayers and Max Barton with his Deepkin on table 29. We've got Alex Bruce against Seb Donnelly, a Scribes sort of civil war, Caradron Overlords and Ideneth Deepkin. Then we've got the man we love, Lee Tuggy K with his Blight King Spam against JP Stevens OBR. And then finally, table 7, we've got Tom Bell against Declan Waters, and they've got 105 Ard boys on the table. 105, Rob. Can't believe it. All in an Ard fist, so there's a chance they could all come back. So that's my little brief summary of the morning. We're going to go back to the 3 featured tables. Babes in the booth, as I like to call them, Rob and Benjamin.
find that war scroll now.
Thank you very much, Owen. Great job there. I can't wait to hear about more of those stories coming in from the field. An incredibly good group out there playing Warhammer. So right now on table 3. That's where we are. We've got Parr. It does say Simon, but that couldn't be more wrong. We've got Simon playing against the American Travis.
Travis Kelly, yeah. He's got a Slaves to Darkness army, and Parr is playing Mawtribes. I think Parr has decided to take the first turn. He is running, we've just heard from Nathan, he's running the Shadespire, or is it Warhammer Underworlds?
Yeah, they've rebranded. Yeah.
Every season. Beastgrave now, Beastgrave.
Yeah, Beastgrave, yes.
So he's got the Beastgrave Icebrow Hunter, who has planted his traps on this central piece of terrain here. And he's decided to go first. He's taken his first turn. He's moved up. He's screening everything behind some Noblars, which I know you're a big fan of.
Huge fan of. So he's got that. Yeah, so he's punched him in the first turn. So he's got this giant block of Noblars, which is so cheap. Like, it's crazy how cheap you get those wounds for. That means here that they're going to be immune to battle shock. So they're like, if you guys don't know what Noblars are, they're grots, which are effectively what Games Workshop call goblins. They're tiny little goblins, and the Ogor society there's a bunch. It's not the best society, I won't lie. There's a bunch of big dudes, and they really do bully the little dudes.
Yep.
And the little dudes do all their work for them. And in this case, they have a boss, and he can punch them doing D3 mortal wounds, and then as you can see, one's been removed there, and he makes them immune to battle shock.
Yep.
And that means that he has to go, all of the damage is going to have to be done by those Slaves to Darkness to wipe out this unit there.
So now they're more scared of the Ogre Tyrant than they are of the Slaves to Darkness, so they're not going to be running away.
Yeah, so I think realistically, like Kodoichi says in the chat, what we are seeing is a society where the Noblars need a
to get a union.
They need to unionize. They need to unionize. A Noblar union is what we need to see. Now we might be able to get some more information from our table boss on table 3. He's going to let us know right now. Nathan Prescott with the audio. It might be choppy. It might not.
So table 3. Semi-gun line. Everybody's got a gun. From the scrap that they throw. 2 scrap launchers, but
not in combat. If they're in combat,
all right, okay.
And shoot.
All right, yeah, okay. Right. Then, so the 2 scrap launchers, obviously not a bad matchup for them because it's a low armored. Quite a lot of bodies on the Slaves to Darkness side, but not good armor. But first turn, they made their 5-up saves, so the scrap launcher's not doing any damage. And then it has trapped the central piece of terrain, which is why everybody's skirting around it at the moment, trying to avoid those mortal wounds. Yeah, we just see all of the just bouncing around the place. Got them, just occupying space, claiming objectives for now. What do you think the main threats are in the slaves list? You look pointing at the big. Yeah, so who is sneaking around the side trying to get to the side objective, and obviously there's a unit of Chaos Knights, and also the Sorcerer Lord on the Manticore. There. So
well, thank you very much, Nath. Appreciate that load. So, Ben, what do you Benjamin? Sorry, what do you think is going to be the plan here, like going forward? What do you think? I think Travis is going to deal with his the Ogre Mawtribes army. There's a lot of wounds in that force.
There is a lot of wounds, yeah. And Travis has got an interesting list. He's gone for, as Nathan said, lots of the Warcry warbands. There's a Godsworn Hunt. There's the Iron Golems, 2 units of them, 2 units of Untamed Beasts, a unit of 20 Splintered Fang. So it's lots of small units. I would say, as Parr pointed out on the tabletop, the 40 Marauders
are probably the main threat there, really. But other than that, looking at his list, he doesn't seem to have a lot of punch. He's got the Darkfire Demon Rift, but then he's only got sort of four wizards. Oh, okay, so 4 wizards and a couple of endless spells, so he could be kicking out D3 plus, say, sort of 5 or 6 mortal wounds on everything in his army within 12, and he is playing in Cabalists, so that means you can so you can double tap that Demon Rift with one of their prayers at the beginning of the turn.
And to move it an extra 9 inches?
You get to move it, I think it's 3 inches for every mortal wound that you do. So if you do 3 more wounds, you can move it an extra 9 inches. But obviously then it does all of its damage. Then I think a lot of the output could come from that Demon Rift if he sets it up. If he sets it up right, has all the wizards, has all the endless spells in range. That's where he's going to be wanting to watch out for that. I think the Marauders obviously hit really hard. They probably, especially if you can get the Sorcerer Lord, the spell off there to make them re-roll hits and wounds. They could probably clear that unit of Grots in a turn. And they are down in the left-hand corner there now, where you can see Travis's arms. I think they're looking to make a long charge into the side of the Noblars here, which means that they can get onto the objective. Obviously, you can see the new Honest Wargame spheres of control there down on the board.
They look nice on the stream, eh?
They do, yeah. That's a much better version of them now. They're see-through. They break the immersion, but very clear for everyone.
So not to jump over you, Benjamin, but a lot of people in the chats asking. We only just got the list. Our statsman Tom is. They were submitted on the day. So right now, today, what we're doing is we are getting them updated, and then eventually we'll be able to bring you them because they literally were just done. But by round 2, we're hoping everyone's going to you guys will be able to check them out. Right, jumping back to table 1 in what is an incredible matchup. We've got JJ, not in any of the tiers, not tier 1, 2, or 3, or the Luke Morton tier. No. He's up against Mark Wildman. Mark Wildman in tier 2 looks like a seasoned gamer against JJ, who's only just got a year of gaming under his belt, and is looking to make a name for himself for taking up one of the big hitters. And we can see early on, straight away, that Phoenix that he's engaged with has jumped straight into that unit of Pink Horrors. Sorry, not the unit of Pink Horrors. We'll just get an update from our table boss. It's into this line of Marauders here, and he's looking to be pinned down. Now, he's up against the Tzeentch force, which includes this beautiful Archeon. There are 2 units of 10 Pink Horrors, so that's 2 blocks of 50 wounds, which is pretty scary. And then, and that Phoenix, we've just heard in the combat phase, has killed 14 Marauders. What do you think? How do you think this game is going to go, Benjamin?
I think I think that Mark is in the better position here. I think he's got the better list, but. Yeah, he's pinned in here now. He's got a huge zone of no-go down in the top corner there, and yeah, I mean it looks like a strong first turn from JJ though. He's taken the 2 objectives. He's gotten through the screens. Let's see.
Right, so we're into the battle shot phase now, so that's all that's happened. We'll see if any shooting has come. There's obviously some shooting units inside the Age of Sigmar list as well. Mr. Prescott, any... Okay. That's not the name, right? I'll tell you what, Nathan Prescott getting used to this new setup. Covering 3 games is going to be... It's our first run at it. New team this weekend. We're trying it out. The Pistoliers. There's a unit of Pistoliers that have just running battle shot. So we're going to be into Mark Wildman, Tzeentch's first turn, right?
Yep. He's...
So that unit of Marauders are moving, and then you can see there Mark Wildman using a classic tactic a classic tactic to just delete, to move objective markers. So, but it's much easier to see now when people are cheating.
Yeah,
it's a clear skill. In the Twitch chat, who are you guys rooting for? You rooting for Tzeentch, or are you rooting for JJ, the young man looking to make a name for himself with Tempest Eye?
Let's be honest, nobody's rooting for Tzeentch here.
Okay, so that we've seen a unit of. Have we seen a whole unit of pink horrors die? A whole unit.
To shoot it from the Iron Drakes, I guess. Yeah.
Oh wow! So he's just deleted it. The Iron Drakes here have shot all 50. And then
wow, that's a super strong first turn. Then he's got rid of his screens. He's got that's
screen
his
gone,
bodies,
screen gone, and then 50
and
of
50 wounds of those. And he is in host duplicitous, so Mark would have been hoping to get those across the board, to tag and to just to swamp something. But you know, the output from a unit of 20 Iron Drakes is, you know, it's high. I don't know whether Mark has any had a command point in his list, or he probably didn't roll any ones in his battle shock, so then maybe battle shocked him off. But yeah, it's a really strong first turn, because he's taken the objectives here. He's got this one here, and
he's really committed,
he's
right?
just taken a lot of his bodies away.
Now, if you guys have just joined us and you don't know what we're playing Total Commitment. So there's no deep striking allowed. So none of the armies will be deep striking. As you can see, those objectives, or the rings that you can see on the board, they're the zones of control. Really useful to be able to just use those. We've seen the Iron Drakes be bridged over here. So there's this Archaon threat. He can come here. We'll find out if there are any 6. So an Archaon now has just had reroll saves cast on him. So he's a big threat.
Oracular Visions.
He's an 800 point threat.
Yep.
That can go forward and hit that unit of Iron Drakes. But with the priority roll coming up, Benjamin, he's going to have to try and grab this objective.
Yep.
Archaon looks like one of the things he's going to do. He has to deal with this Phoenix. And then if Archaon gets placed over there and these Iron Drakes get to shoot at him, there could be potentially a dead Archaon in this situation.
Yes, and I think the Phoenix is really difficult to kill. And so if I were Mark, I would be wanting to put Archaon in there and be playing for the Slayers of Kings, because he's got too many saves, and he's too tough, and he's -1 to wound. I don't think that those knights are going to go through him, and so really you want Archaon to be going into there. We haven't seen Mark's Destiny dice pool. If he's got 2 6s in there, he could auto kill that, and that deletes a big threat. But this objective here is one of Mark's home objectives, so it's worth 3 points at the moment, and so he needs to take that back, because if JJ wins the if JJ wins the turn roll here, he could potentially score another 5 if Mark doesn't reclaim that objective. Obviously, if he starts bringing stuff over here, JJ has got over here onto this objective. JJ has got a huge unit of Iron Drakes who we've just seen shoot off 50 wounds of horrors, and so anything that comes sort of in beyond here is likely to get he's likely to just get shot off. So he's got some tough choices here, I think Mark has. It's going to be interesting to see what he does with that. Yeah, because that Phoenix that's a big problem there, right in it, all up in his grill. Yeah, and I just don't think he has any way to kill that.
It's a lot of output. I agree. And
now,
also, if he brings Archaon out here, those Iron Drakes have got the option as well. Like, I think it's a really solid play. Like, because that Phoenix initially looks like, okay, that's a long bomb, but I'm going to say that that's 100% bait. Yeah, I'm saying that that's what it is. But Mark is best off, in my opinion, just going straight into the threat.
Yeah.
Like, and it looks like he's lining up for it. It does look like he's going to make that decision.
Yeah, he's only got a couple of gyro bombers down here, so he could take that objective with just, if he runs the knights, gets 1 or 2 in there, runs the knights to here, gets 1 or 2 in. He could outnumber these 3 gyrocopters there pretty easily, but it's just so risky, because if he does lose the turn, then those Iron Drakes will probably shoot off the majority of those knights.
Right. So
his bodies are
and then he doesn't have the bodies.
Well, no, I agree. I can't wait to come back to this game and find out what's going to happen. What we're going to do now is jump over to game 2, and here we've seen the Dungers up against Andy's Blades of Khorne. As you can see, we've just heard that the Dungers, in a very fast turn, have ended up getting the priority roll going into turn 2, and they've taken it. So as you can see, we've launched the Huskard. We've launched the Huskard in Stonehorn straight in there.
Into a Soul Grinder here.
Oh, so that's the Frost Lord, sorry.
So that's the Frost Lord. That's the one who's punchy. He's gone into this Soul Grinder here. That's the big base that you can see in the middle. Starting to see more Soul Grinders about now. We see 3 of them last weekend.
They're a thing, I think. You can give them marks. They're really... I want to talk more about that in a minute. I just want to say hello to everyone in the chat. If you've just joined us, let you know where you're from. Kia ora to my friends over in New Zealand. I can see that we got some Aussies in the chat as well. But big up all of you. Denise is super happy. A Soul Grinder, all my stars. So welcome to all of you. This game, you've seen Ogre Mawtribes. We don't have the list right now because they just went in, but they have been heavily converted out of Dungers, as you can see.
Yes.
Dungers.
Someone described to me last night as furry golf balls.
Furry golf balls. And there's also 15 Yetis that we're seeing play here. So a lot is happening. We've seen in the double turn, we're seeing the combat phase now, Nathan Prescott. I'm pretty certain that's correct.
So it does surprise me that the Stonehorn went down here and went into that Soul Grinder and didn't kill it in one turn. So he's fortunate to win the double turn here, but the Khorne player played, Andy, that is, played very reserved first turn, just sat back. Obviously he's got a couple of skull cannons, so he's hoping to maybe use those to draw in, Nikos in. He's... Sorry. Okay, so we're straight into the combat phase here.
We are straight into the combat phase, and there we go. There's the Dunger into the Soul Grinder. He is a word I never thought I'd say, and why my nan thinks I don't have a real job. Is what's going on. So from impact hits, it's taken 3 mortal wounds already, and then that's just from the impact hits. And don't forget, he's also got Metal Cruncher. So he's going to be doing D6 mortal wounds again.
If it survives, yeah.
Yeah, if it survives. So that could take it down. Soul Grinder's got 14 wounds and is also super rare. Benjamin, why do you think we're seeing, Twitch chat, why do you think we're seeing more Soul Grinders at the moment? You just don't know.
Yeah, I just shook my head, yeah. It's not good audio, but I can't. I don't know. I think it's just, its space is too big for it to be viable in a game, I think. It doesn't have fly, and it moves too slowly, and look at the size of that base.
So we've just seen attacks also separated out and gone into the Skull Cannon, and that Skull Cannon, who previously shot at the Frostlord on Stonehorn, has been slain in what I can only describe an angry charge, punching in.
Revenge, yeah.
And then over here, the Skull Hound. No, they're not called those.
Skull Crushers?
Flesh Hounds. Flesh Hounds of Khorne. They are piling into those Mournfang, or even, as some people may describe them, Baby Dungers. They're even smaller Mournfang-based Dungers, which is just... Okay. And we've just found out that Nick has just forgot to activate his Rune of Algvar.
Okay.
Yeah? What are we looking for?
I want to see if the Dunger's just inside the sphere of control there.
Okay.
Because obviously that counts for 20 wounds.
I've gone to the wrong game. I'm sorry, everyone.
That's okay.
Oh,
it looks like he is. It looks like he's just inside that.
Yeah. So
zone.
Yeah, just here. So what's happened is Benjamin's pointing out that this Frostlord has just clipped this zone of control, which means that's going to be 10 wounds for there, and then each one of these units is going to count as 2 wounds.
Yep.
And then the way you control objectives in Age of Sigmar, I know some of you know, but this is for new people, is the objectives is you need to have the most wounds Oh no, sorry. The most bodies normally on those objectives, although they count for 10 models with this particular Ogre Mawtribes army. So as you can see, Nick has really consolidated the board. He's got 3 of the objectives, and the whole Khorne army is pinned into the back. But obviously Nick got the priority role, so he's had a turn, and then he's had another turn, and he's done quite well. But we've still got Bloodthirster here looking to engage another Skull Cannon. But this other unit of Fleshhounds is engaged by another unit. And these Fleshhounds aren't bad. They've just done 4 wounds at that top unit.
Yeah, a lot of attacks each. They're 4 attacks each, aren't they? But that's probably... I mean, he's going to lose this objective anyway over here now because the Stonehorn automatically outnumbers those 5 Fleshhounds on his own. But obviously, if he killed one of the Mournfangs then instead of leaving it on a couple of wounds, he would have taken away another 2. But yeah, so at the moment he's 14-5 on that objective, so he should take that at the end of the turn, and it will give him 5 points. And then that forces Andy to have to bring everything this way to secure this.
Where do you think he's going to go though? Because he's now being assaulted on all fronts, which is how I think these Ogre Mawtribes armies play. They just hit you full on very early, and as you can see, he's taken up a huge portion of the board.
Yep.
We've seen two. We've seen 2 very interesting games so far. We've seen JJ play super aggressive, and we've seen Nick play super aggressive early doors.
It seems to be working out. I mean, they got in there before they could shore up the defense on the objectives and start bringing models out and screening them off. And then if you hit the charge with the Stonehorn here and the Mournfangs, if Andy had won the double turn, he could have zoned them off a little bit more. But yeah, unfortunately for him, or for both players actually, very. Going up, getting an early lead. Nikos is going to score 5 now at this point, which will put him 7-2 up. And I don't really see how Andy can get to this objective over here in his turn. The Fleshhounds here are locked in combat with 2 more Mournfang. And yeah, he's going to have to come and get this one back because it's worth 3 points to Nikos. It's only worth 1. It's only worth 1 to Andy, and so that's the problem with going over there and committing too much of his force to take back an objective which is not going to level the playing field here.
Right.
But he needs to commit over here, but I just don't see how he's going to get there this turn.
Well, I agree. We're going to just quickly jump back to Table 1. Nathan's going to give us an update from Table 3 in a moment. But we're going to jump back to Table 1 and see if that Archeon is going to decide to move. I've looked at Mark Wildman with his head in his hands for a good 5 to 10 minutes. And as we can see, that Archeon has still not made his decision. Big question, Twitch chat. Is it going here? Is it going there? That's all those are 3 options, I think. Yeah. So the real question is, Benjamin, what do you think? Which would you choose to do?
Yeah, I can understand how Mark sat there with his head in his hands, trying to make that decision. It's a really, really tough decision, because as I was saying, it's very tempting to just send Archeon into the Phoenix and Slayer of Kings that off, and that's 1 threat. It means that he is probably only going to be scoring 1 objective then if he does. Oh, he can score this, so he could score 2 points this turn.
That's that objective held by 3 gyrocopters. JJ did an amazing play, so which we can see here. What he's done is he's popped the unit of Pink Horrors with the shooting from the Iron Drakes, and then the output from the gyrocopters, which does more damage the more models you have out, popping from the gyrocopters. Solid play from JJ. That's why I'm a big fan of him. Young man making some plays.
It's super smart play.
And he's still Mark's still not decided. Make a decision. Commit. Come on. He's done it.
There you go.
There you go. Right, that's the right. So he must have. Look, as you can see, that's the 12-inch marker on his dice.
Yep.
He clearly has the dice in his destiny pool to decide to make that charge. That means that those Iron Drakes are gonna get it. There's still shooting to come, which could potentially happen.
Archeon is on 3 up re-roll in saves now, and the wording on that Sorcerer Lord Oracular Visions is that he can re-roll all saves. So the Iron Drakes are -2 rend, so he'll only be on a 5-up save, but he gets to re-roll everything, even the 3s and the 4s. do the Iron Drakes have the output to kill?
That's the question.
Archon? Yeah,
that's the question. If you are joining us, obviously, this is the Dark Fantastic Mills board. All the terrain, which looks amazing. We'll get some close-ups in a bit on the Dark Fantastic Mills board. Looks glorious. Right, jumping over to table 3. Our Ogre Mawtribes versus Slaves to Darkness army. We saw this unit of Noblars, which Nathan Prescott, I think we're going to get an audio update now from our table boss, Nathan. He's going to let us know what's happened on this table to date.
Table.
We've seen Slaves to Darkness win the priority roll, so they've on the flank to grab the objective off. So, and then winning the priority on that flank, which he has sent a lot more of his force over there. The Noblar screeners. Loving attention of marauders and knights, but it does mean heavy hitting stuff is still sat there waiting to do its thing. So how Simon's second turn is going to go, but again we just see all these little MSU bands running around the center of the board. Threatening the Par's middle back objective. So we a lot of there's loads of like little bits of shooting and combats and stuff. These three.
Which is good because like you often in the heat of battle, you often do things a little bit more loosely than what you would normally do, and you don't want to get caught out and not be on the objective when you intended to be.
Yeah, you guys clearly didn't hear our audio there. That's my bad. Don't worry about it. We'll sort that out in the future. You guys are great. We're going to get there. All right, so on to this. Okay, onto this game now. What do you think the plays are going to be? Obviously, we've seen Travis move forward quite aggressively. What do you think, Benjamin?
Yeah, so both these armies are based quite similarly and have similar colour schemes, so it's a little difficult to tell exactly what's what. But I think the slaves are in a surprisingly good position, actually. I think he's won the double here. Has he gone into the? He's gone into the second turn.
So he's won the double, and he's been able to consolidate on that left-hand side.
So he did exactly. He made this long charge over here into the Noblar screen that was there. He put in enough marauders just on the edge there to cap that objective. So he scored 5 points in the first turn, which is good. It puts him up, and then he's won the double, so he's going to be able to score at least another 10 here. I think the Marauders are still trapped down in combat, so he can't do anything sneaky like make a big charge and get a couple of guys into here. But even if he just, he scores his 5, he shores up his defences here, he makes sure that everything's zoned out, he'll be 10-2 up, and so be in a very good position.
there's lots to talk about in this game, I think, as we hear more information. But going over to table 1, just want to see if that Archaon has committed, and it has. The Archaon has committed on that table 1. And he used Destiny dice to make sure he got the charge off. Cheating, right?
Exactly.
Simply cheating. Oh, so we've heard from the tabletop that he is basically playing for the double turn. Mark, being a prodigious kind of semi-gamer and a failed podcaster, he often just makes those long bomb charges. So looking to go into these Iron Drakes, who've got a decent save.
It looks like is there a screen, Tablebot, in front of the Iron Drakes? Okay, so it's Longbeards that are in front there, which means that Archaon won't be able to hit the Iron Drakes with all of his attacks. I think it's a 3-inch range on the tails and the bites from the from Dorgar, but it's a 1-inch range on his Slayer of Kings, as far as I'm aware. So he's not even going to be able to put all of his attacks into the Iron Drakes. He's going to be wasting those big D6 bites into Longbeards. And so he's probably not going to do enough output this turn to really neuter that threat of the Iron Drake shooting. And then so that's going to really, it's going to need him. He's going to need the double here, I think. I'm not a big fan of playing for the double. I think
no, never.
But yeah,
I never. But I think JJ put him.
But JJ maybe gave him no other choice.
Wow,
yeah.
That is incredible. So this cavalry unit right here, so this unit of Chaos Knights have just killed the Phoenix.
Wow, in one charge?
No. Sorry, he's taking it down to 1 wound, but it's now, so that's the Knights, it's down to the horses, 4s and 4s, to see if they can do the final 1 wound. That's incredible from those Chaos Knights.
And as we all know in Warhammer, the horses always do more damage.
Always do more damage, so although this might not be true in this situation, because effectively they've done 5 wounds. He failed it by 1
so
dice roll.
To the wound.
That is honestly amazing. Wow. Oh wait, so he only went through the armor save. He had that opportunity to roll the 1 DPR. Didn't get it.
Didn't get it on a 4.
And there we go. So now Archaon. So the Longbeards are going to pile in, and they're going to pin him in, making sure he can't pile round. So what you're able to do, I'll do a large description on the screen here, is if you've got your circle of enemies, what you do is you just pile around like this, which means that he's not going to be able to move around because he's equidistant to all these different models when you pile in. So that means that he's trapping him, which is good work from JJ. Obviously, if the double happens, that's not particularly going to save him. But
I mean, this I wouldn't have expected the Knights to one-shot.
I'm stood here shook.
I'm surprised, yeah. But it does swing things a little back in Mark's favour. He's going to need the double now, but if he gets it. Archaon's obviously going to kill that unit of Longbeards. It looks like is he within 3 inches, Nathan, is Archaon within 3 inches? He is within 3 inches. Yeah, okay. So he is within 3 inches there. So if he can win the double, he's already in combat. He'll probably take out a few of them.
Is it the 1 unit of Iron Drakes? There are 2 units of Iron Drakes.
1 unit of 20, yeah.
Oh, so Archaon's already taken 2 wounds from the Longbeards, which is fun.
Wow.
Yeah, but those Iron Drakes, so the Trollhammer Torpedo is something that needs to survive, basically, because that's going to be doing that D6 damage as well. And also with the loss of that Phoenix, it's only 300 points. But look, Archaon's not on this objective.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Mark's only scoring 1 this turn.
And I know potentially he can go around, but so this is going to be a score. Then on the priority roll, that's all again. Mark's really got to consolidate some points later on in the game. Now, obviously, these Knights can jump off, and I imagine they're going to go forward. But there's some really, really strong plays here. This is a really exciting game. However, talking about exciting things, we've got Mr. Owen Jackson, who has got some updates from what's happening in the rest of Sheffield Slaughter 2020.
Thanks, Rob. So yeah, I've been having a little look around the tables. We've got lots of games, into sort of turns 2, turn 3 now. So starting to see perhaps where some results are coming. One table that we didn't look at the start, but it's been some big drama, is Thomas Waller is playing against Josh McHale on table 18. Now, Thomas is playing a lot of tournaments, and this is his local club in the Dragon Slayers, whereas this is Josh's first tournament. And Josh, being a legend, has brought 60 Hearthguard Berserkers to his first tournament. So he's coming in, starting with a filthy list straight away. Now, Thomas started the game with 10 models. He's got 4 Frostlords and 6 Mournfang. And over the course of 3 turns, those 4 Frostlords have killed 41 out of 60 of those Hearthguard. So despite what looked to be a really tough matchup for him, Thomas is putting in the work there, and looks like he's getting a good result. Some of the tables we looked at earlier, Colin Mather and Andy Hughes on table 4. I watched Andy's 20 Hearthguard just murder 20 Mortek in one go. That was after the other 20 Hearthguard with the poleaxes killed 7 out of 10 Death Riders. So Nagash's legions are diminishing on table 4. It was, yes, table 4. So Andy's looking in good shape there. Now, table 22 was Steve Wren against Gabe. Steve Wren with Archaon and the Varangard and some Slaanesh chariots against Gabe's Big War. It looks like the Big War are doing the work there. Archaon's still alive, but he's had to teleport away to try and put pressure. But I think that the bodies that the Big War bring, and obviously the combat efficiency, they're going to grind that one out. Mike Stewart against Max Barton on table 29. Now, I really do think Mike's got a good chance this weekend. I don't want to big him up too much, but he looks to be weathering the waves of eels that Max are throwing at him. He had a nice little move. I looked like he'd baited in 3 eels on the home objective, but he also had 3 Fire Slayers just hugging the line. So even if he lost that hero, then he wasn't going to take the point off him. So, yeah, Mike looks like he's playing really tight. Alex against Seb is over my shoulder. They're just here on table 6. Alex took the first turn, shot some stuff. But Seb's now in with a lot of eels, and it looks like Alex is going to need to weather that storm. Tuggy and JP on table 36. Tuggy did all the right things, I think, turn 1, but even so, the catapults have killed a lot on one flank, and then he's put in Death Riders and the Liege to try and clear out and take that home objective. So I think JP's looking really good in that one, unfortunately. Unfortunately for me, because I want Tuggy to win, but good for JP. Tom and Declan still have a lot of hard boys left on table 7. Lee and John over there. John Dale against Lee Bromley. Yeah, there's still lots of Storm Fiends on the table. A game still looks like it needs to kick off there. And then finally, I caught up with him. He's on the bottom table. He's not going to stay there very long. Tony Moore. Now, I'm calling him a death hipster. He wasn't very happy. He had to ask me what a hipster was, and I explained that it was fine. I was being nice about him. But he's bringing Legions and Nagash. He says he's given up on OBR. He wants to keep Nagash in his true Legion. He thinks it's the best, and he's facing off against Ian Howarth. Yeah, and he's looking really good there. So yeah, it was good to catch up with him. I didn't realise there was another hall in the back where there's a lot of lovely gents. Miles Hewitt's playing in there with his Hell Pits, both on the table, which I'm sure Rob will be pleased to hear. And that's it. Yeah, that's where we currently stand. I think the boys are, ready for me to come back. So I'll pass you back to Benjamin and Rob, who are going to bring you all the action from the top 3.
Thank you very much, Owen. All right, so back onto table 1 now, and we've had some big updates.
Big updates from the tabletop.
We've seen JJ with his Tempest Eye against Mark with his Tzeentch Host Duplicitous.
Yes, and over here in the corner, the Archaon charge into the Longbeard screen. Didn't kill the Longbeards. Archaon didn't, and he only killed 2 of the Iron Drakes, which is a problem with big models like this. I think, he does have an incredible amount of output, but it's swingy. It's only a small amount of attacks, and so if you miss with a couple of those, it's a lot of damage going to waste there. And JJ won the priority role after that charge, and I think that probably could be game here, or at least it puts JJ in a very, very good position now. And yeah, so what he's going to be able to do here, he's probably going to be able to take Archaon down. He can bridge out of combat, of course. The bridge is currently set up here. I don't know whether JJ is going to dispel that and recast it. It's probably a little bit risky at this stage. You probably just want to leave it where it is. So then you can get all of these Iron Drakes out of combat here, which opens up the option of shooting into the Knights then for him as well. Obviously, the good play with models like Archaon a lot of the time is to just ignore him, and he's only one model, as you can see, as we've just seen on the charge.
Such a destructive model, right?
Well, yeah, in theory, but he's only killed 8 Longbeards and two Iron Drakes on the charge there.
He's just not threatening enough. They look right at home in that amazing dark fantastic mill scenery.
Yeah, exactly.
They are in there. Look at
right in the realm of Shaman.
Yeah, no one's going to hurt them. I love those little gyrocopters just holding that objective at the back of the board.
Yeah,
they look fantastic. They're doing a great job.
Mark's Archaon is beautiful, isn't it?
But it's outrageously attractive. It's not actually as pretty as my Archaon that's painted, but that's can't wait to show you that.
Yeah, can't wait to see that.
That looks really good. But so yeah, they look like they're spoiling for a fight there, but they're just being taken off.
They're going to be going through the bridge, aren't they? Back to where?
So the priority roll's gone to JJ.
JJ won the priority. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's huge.
Yeah. It's very, very big.
That's huge. That's huge. Mark's going to be over. No, he's not going to be. Look at the Iron Drakes. How many wounds has Archaon got left? Can't have many left.
He's got 2 dice on him there. Look.
So the roll was 3-3. But it was a draw for the priority roll.
And JJ wins on draws to stop Mark from getting that double. Which, must be heartbreaking for Mark. I think he knows that he has got a real uphill struggle now here after that. It depends where he decides to shoot. If I was JJ, I would shoot those Knights. Archaon is one model. He's not on an objective. He can't even
that's a clever
unless
play.
He comes here and kills those Gyrocopters. He can't even take that objective on his own. Mark's only scored 1 point. JJ scored 5. JJ's going to score another 5 in this turn.
He is.
Yeah, he's in a very good position.
He's
here,
in a really solid
young
place.
Talent. Yeah.
So the Gyrocopters are doing their once per battle bombing run. So they can do mortal wounds to Archaon, try and whittle him down a little bit more, which might give us an indication that he's going to plan to shoot here. The problem is JJ doesn't have the ability. Maybe he's going to take.
So he's done 2 mortals to Archaon, and Archaon has a bounce back mechanic where if he rolls he has a save of 4+ against all mortal wounds, and if he rolls a 6, he does a mortal wound back. So I think he's rolled a 6 on that, done 1 mortal wound back to them. If we can just find out how many wounds Archaon has taken, Nathan. He's got a couple of dice on him there, so he's definitely taken a few. I think that that's a good play to keep chipping off little wounds from him. Don't totally ignore him, because the best thing is, or the reason that you would be doing that is to reduce his movement. So his movement does go down quite a bit as he gets wounded, and so if you can chip off a few wounds,
but I think
reduce
you're right.
a few inches, it makes him less of a threat.
I think you're right. Like the ability to take these out here. The problem you're going to have maybe is the horrors. I'm not 100% certain I would have brought this unit out to screen, and my reasoning is because the last thing you want to do is give the horrors the charge. And then when they start getting hit, they're going to. What I think with this unit of horrors, you're going to make a line and then just hold both objectives. That lets the Knights go here, Archaon go here, and then you grab all 4. That's not a good play here.
You have to remember now, though, with the new horrors splitting mechanic, the new ones have to come within an inch of one of the dead ones, so it stops them stringing out like that.
It does, and it doesn't, because like the first ones that have to die are pinks. Yeah. But then after that, you can kill blues to put brims out in the right order.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Oh, okay, yes. So if he puts a blue over here, and then he can put the brims out from that blue. Yeah.
But then either way, even a run, like once they're split apart, being able to be long and hold the objectives. But Mark's really reduced down to units. I mean, to be honest, if he takes out Archaon, like that's another unit that's not on the board realistically. The Knights. He really only, JJ really only has to deal with. He did an amazing first play. There's not many units in this army, so he only has to really take out like this block and then one of these 2 threats and then once he does, there's just not enough scoring units on the board.
Yeah.
With a really big first turn points difference, it's going to be 9. It's going to be 10-1, so it's going to be a 9-point difference.
Yeah, and at the end of this turn, he's either not going to have Archaon or he's not going to have these knights. I don't think he can touch the horrors at the moment, but I mean, Mark's playing Tzeentch, and so he does have the potential to summon, but he's only got 2 wizards himself.
Oh, so
JJ's only got 2. So
we've heard the decision made, though. Iron Drakes are going to shoot the knights.
Okay, yeah.
Iron Drakes are making the decision. They're going to go into the knights, and we're going to find out what's going on there.
Yeah, he's going to shoot them off, I imagine.
You reckon they're all going to go?
Probably won't one shot them. They're 3 wounds each, aren't they? They're on a 4-up save. I don't know whether the Rune Lord would have gone through the bridge. I don't know whether did he get the Rune Lord prayer off this round, Nathan?
We'll find out. If he got the.
So that would make a big difference, because then that's the difference between a 5-up save and a 6-up save on them. But yeah, I'd imagine he'll do enough damage here that he'll significantly reduce the threat of that. Yeah, 7
So
of them.
7 of the knights have gone down. Very significant, of a unit of 10.
Yep.
Even if not battle shock, they've reduced them to they're fairly ineffective.
Yep.
Although that does leave Big Papa Archaon. And we've seen the torpedo going. We haven't seen the torpedo shoot yet. It's got a different weapon profile, so you'd fire all of your normal shots, and then you would fire your Troll Hammer torpedo, and potentially going to do another D3 damage. Could take it another night. That's a solid turn.
Yep.
That's a solid turn. Again, though, shooting, deleting a lot. I mean, those knights were very, very scary.
Yeah.
Archaon now, maybe not the threat that he's concerned about. I think Tempest Eye might have this game.
It looks
But
like it to me. Yeah.
But it's an early play. There's still these 3 turns. So we're leaving 1 knight on 2 wounds remaining.
Yeah.
That's a devastating turn.
Yeah. As I was saying before, the Tzeentch does have the ability to summon models in the late game. It only costs 10 fate points for a unit of 10 blues, which then split into a unit of 10 pinks. So that gives you 20 bodies potentially to part on an objective. But I don't know whether there's enough spells in the list. As I was saying, it's Mark's only got 2 casters. One of them is a double caster, Archaon, so he's getting 3. 3 fate points per turn if you can cast those spells. Obviously, the Tempest Eye have got a couple of wizards. I think he's got, or maybe he's only got 1 battle mage. And so I don't know whether he's going to be able to get fate points up quick enough to make a difference in this game here.
So we're going to go now. We're going to see what happens in this game, but we're going to need to find out what happens on table 2. With our game against Nikos with his Ogre Mawtribes against Andy with his Blades of Khorne Bloodlords army. As we can see there, we saw earlier on in the previous turn, it's 7-3 going on to Nikos. We saw that Frostlord go down and fight over here, but he died.
To the Soul Grinder?
Well, he's dead. We would like some
anymore.
updates on what happened on that game
as well.
Pardon me?
Yeah, the Soul Grinder is still there as well.
Yeah, the Soul Grinder is still there, alive. So is that Khorne Demon Prince as well, which is solid. Bloodthirster here. He is now engaged. We've seen those Flesh Hounds of Khorne, which the Mournfang were engaged with, die.
Yeah.
So they've died. The
same over here as well. The Flesh Eaters against the Mournfang there have died. Looks like 1 Mournfang's still alive.
Yeah, so they're dead. In which case, the Bloodthirster has gone into here, but Nick still grabbed this objective and this objective this turn. So we're gonna. So the Frostlord took the Bloodthirster with him using the Everwinter's Blessing. So we had another Bloodthirster come over here, attack, and take that out. So those Bloodthirsters doing really well.
I mean, the issue here, whose turn are we in at the moment? Turn 3 for
Nick.
No, Khorne's turn 3. Okay. And he's in a difficult position here because he's got nothing to challenge this objective. There's this 1 model alive here, so he needs to go and kill that with both of these. They can't just move on to the objective there and claim it because he's worth 2 and they're only worth 2. And then as he starts sending stuff over here, he's opened himself up for a counter charge here. I think this is another 3 Yetis. And I think so. Yeah, it seems like Nikos is in the commanding position on this table. In my opinion, I think that the Khorne player played his first turn too too reserved. He needed to start moving stuff up. He needed to have something here. He needed to have some bodies here challenging that objective. He needed some bodies here to challenge that one. I mean, I know he had a couple of skull cannons, so he did have the ranged threat to try and draw in the Mawtribes, but he's a Khorne army. You need to advance. You can't just sit back and defend those objectives, because how, whether, maybe not all Mawtribes players play like this, but Stonehorns are there to run across the table and to put pressure on the opponent, which is exactly what he's going to do. They hit hard, so they're going to come in, they're going to take something off an objective, and they're going to score that. And so, yeah, he needed to bear that in mind in the first turn. He needed to move some models up. It's no good just putting a little unit on the arc there, because that unit's going to die. He needed to have some here, so then the Stonehorn and the Mournfang would have been trapped out there. He wouldn't have got that objective. So yeah, he's really on the back foot here.
Yeah, in a big way. In a big way. Like I think this is what this army does particularly well. The Ogre Mawtribes, and as we see them going forward, that's going to be what we see over the weekend. They're going to throw those big models in. They're going to hit you really hard, and that's what we've seen here. But this, look at all the. I mean, there's Yetis is what you see in there, but these are all threats. And then, as we saw that early engagement, he's just gone in, and he's like, "You have to deal with this." And we were talking about this just yesterday. There's a couple of very obstinate builds in Age of Sigmar at the minute, where you have to, in your army list, you have to just deploy 2 screens, because if you don't, 2 big flesh-eater court dragons, 2 Stonehorns, 3 bloodthirsters, you pick them, they're going to go forward, they're going to delete this, and they could activate again and potentially delete that. And so you need to just build that into your list before you even write the rest of your list at this stage, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we were saying there's still a lot of people who play like that as well, who run things forward and just give you choices to make. You've got to.
It's a good way to play. Yeah, like, it's fun, it's honest, it really just lets you know what's happening.
Yeah,
it's quite scary. It is. Listen, I want to keep know what's happening on all the tables. We're going to find out now what's happening on table 3. Because we have... Oh, no, I've pressed the wrong button. This is us, though. Hello. We're going to get this right today, I promise you. Or we're not. So table 3, we've got Ogre Mawtribes with Simon, and we've got Travis with his Kabbalists. It's 10-2 to Travis, with Parr, who's at the top with his Ogre Mawtribes. He's had the double put on him, so he's had a tough turn, and we saw Travis consolidate that those big units over here in the left-hand corner and grab. And it doesn't look like there's much left for Parr.
No, yeah, he's in a difficult position here. I think it's 3 games all the same. They've gone really big swings in one person's favour in the first couple of turns.
So we're gonna go live now to our table boss, and he's gonna let us know what's happened this turn at the table.
Simon charged in the trying to get as many of them dead as he 12 of that little hero in the back corner. That's so the man-eaters have done their thing, and all the shooting. Still quite a handful of them left. So he'll get that objective back this turn, but then going into the center of the board, you've only got the MSU. So you would have thought that the Iron and the other man-eaters will work their way through that. Will get onto other objects, building the score back up. So Simon's definitely playing for the... it's just whether he'll be fast enough to get through all of the stuff that's in the way, all that. But yeah, the knights have all been taken, and the men are all fighting.
Thank you very much, Nathan. Appreciate you. I know that the sound issues with Nathan, we're going to try and sort it out. but we're going to have to shout it out between rounds. Apologies, everyone. Okay, so what we heard from Nathan there is those objectives are not going to be held. Benjamin, how do you feel about this?
This is one over here, is it?
Yeah.
It's not gonna be, yeah. It's not going to be held by par, did he say? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then. Yeah, it's looking bad for par then at this stage. There's little units all over the board. It doesn't have his force in the places it needs to be. Like, he's got a big unit of ogres here that are not on an objective. He's got another unit here that are not anywhere near an objective. He's 10-2 down. So that's the thing with MSU builds. I think they're becoming more and more of a viable option, I think, now, MSU, because it just stops big charges like 12 Gluttons or Stonehorns. If you can get that screen in the right position then and have them away from objectives, then
I agree.
You get the gold, you win the game. And so he's got lots of those little units that he can just get in the way, just to annoy par and just shore up his lead now.
Well, very quickly, we got a call in from the chat. It said more shots of Benjamin. There you go. This is him. Let's get back to table one, because look where we are. Though all those knights are dead, young man JJ, he's going to take out one of our tier 2s. Yeah, one of our Mark Wildmans. Yeah, it looks like he's in a solid spot. He's up 10-1. Yeah, Mark Wildman's stressed. He's looking frantic.
Biting his nails.
He's biting his nails. He is panicked. Here we have Archaon, Cities of Sigmar, Tempest Eye. He's got that unit of Iron Drakes. In Mark's turn now, he's got to get that, or he has to go kill the Gyrocopters. If he goes and kills the Gyrocopters and score the objective, that leaves the Iron Drakes to engage with him this turn. JJ's played an absolute blinder.
He really has, yeah. I mean, will Archaon even kill those Gyrocopters?
Yeah, I mean, they're 3 wounds each with the 4-up save.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 12 wounds with the 4-up save, so he's definitely going to kill him. But he has to.
But then it's only worth 1 point to him, so he only scores. Even if he does that, he only scores 2 points this turn.
Even if he comes here, and even if he gets the charge round. And can we just talk about this, because I think this is incredible. I think what he's done is he's used the Soul Screen Bridge to block any piling in onto the objective. So that means, again, I'm going to talk about how much I love the objective circle, so you can just tell. But that means that pile-in is negated, and that means that even if he kills the Iron Drakes, he doesn't score this point. So go here, score only a point, leave the Iron Drakes alive. Go there, kill the Iron Drakes, don't even score a point, because there's these 5 horsemen back here holding on to the objective.
Yeah.
And then as he ran, so there were the... however, Tzeentch do have 10 summoning points. They've got enough. We have enough for 10 blue horrors to go down and hold an objective, which is pretty intimidating.
It's bodies, isn't it? Yeah, it's 10 blues becomes 10 brims, so that's 20 potential
wounds.
Bodies, 20 wounds, 20 potential bodies. I mean, I suppose you're only going to have 10 at any one time, but yeah, it gives him the chance to take this objective here with blues, while Archaon can go over here and see if he can do what he should have done last time with those Iron Drakes. If Mark has a really good turn this turn, if he can take the objective back, if he can get Archaon over there to kill those Iron Drakes, will that be enough then to potentially on a double put the swing back in his favour?
So he's just measuring now to see if he can summon them, because he has to be 9 inches away from the enemy, and obviously he's still not going to be able. So he won't be able to summon them onto the objective. Someone's asking what that scenery is in the top right hand corner, and that is the Dark Fantastic Mills scenery. Our whole board. This is our Dark Fantastic Mills board. He sponsored the whole board, so all the terrain that you can see there has been produced by him. You can go find his website. It's a very cool board. It looks absolutely great.
I was taking some pictures of it this morning, so we'll try and get them online.
And then if you include having Wildman's army on it, it's just a delight for the eyes.
Absolutely.
Which is very much how I feel doing casting with you, Benjamin.
Thank you.
So over here we have a Fate Master. Now this Fate Master has got a unit of Shadow Warriors here, and he is going to try and charge. Now, obviously, he needs to get in, and he's okay in combat. Not great, but okay.
He's difficult to kill, though, isn't he?
He is. He's got a 1-up save.
Yeah.
But those Shadow Warriors are not great. I mean, they're okay in combat, actually. But most importantly, he's going to use Destiny dice to get in. So it looks like he's going to try and engage there. So he does have this small hero unit, but it's not quite an equivalent to 40k. In 40k, the heroes are genuinely scary.
Yeah.
They can clear whole units. In Age of Sigmar, they're almost always buff pieces, so they're very rarely able to. Can you think of any like foot characters that are genuine, apart from Gotrek, that are scary?
Not really. No, like maybe a mega boss and a tyrant, things like that. The slightly bigger ones, but yeah, no sort of like 5-6 wound heroes that are going to go in and do any significant amount of damage. I mean, he's only fighting against Shadow Warriors, and so it doesn't look like there's a hero over there. If he could do enough damage to battle shock them off, then as well, then he could score 3 points from there. Yeah, I didn't see that little Fate Master, but so Mark is looking for his outs here. I think he hasn't given up. He's still playing the game, and yeah.
But he's looking for it. But who knows? Who knows? Right. So just to go for a quick cycle through on game 2, as you can see here, in our Ogre Mawtribes versus Blaze of Khorne, 12-3. Nikos with the Dungers doing the work. Yeah, they are
good.
I'm quite surprised that Donaldinho doesn't play Dungers with his the Dungadinho. Does that work? All right, and then finally, quickly on game 3, we've got our Ogre Mawtribes again, Blood Gullet Junk Mob, par, looking to consolidate, still got 8 points behind going into turn 2, looking to draw those points back. While we wait to see what happens with those games, we've got an interview with one of our Tier 1 players, potentially to take out the event, and also one of the Dragon Slayers, Mr. Andy Hughes, with our man Owen.
Cheers, Rob. Yep, that's right. I'm here with Andy. We've just had 3 big results all come in at the same time. So we had Andy himself on table 4, we had Dan Bradshaw, and we also had Luke Morton, all getting major wins at the same time. So those top picks that we had, they're all performing. And how did you go, Andy? What did you face?
So I faced Bone Reapers in a Petrifex list with Nagash.
Nasty.
Very nasty list, very cagey. So for the first 3 turns, the Bone Reaper list backed up away from me, waiting for me to come forward to try and charge down the middle and steal my objectives. But didn't quite roll his run far enough, and then unfortunately the half guard charged in and took off 7 of his cavalry, and my other unit was slowly making its way to his objective, and the half guard swung once and took off a unit of 20 Mortek guard in one go.
That'll do it, eh?
Yeah, that's pretty nasty, and that pretty much then secured me 3 objectives to win the game. Just ground it out from there.
Shut up, John. Go away, John. So it did look as though he'd mixed up his target priority in terms of which one of the sets of Mortek go into. Sorry, which targets go into the poleaxes and which go into the broadaxes, right?
They're all poleaxes in my list.
Oh, okay, fine. In that case, he didn't. But Nagash does well into those poleaxes, I think.
So he did actually charge one of the units and do a wound.
Wow. Hashtag Fire Slayers, viewers. Hashtag Fire Slayers. So you march on into round 2.
Yep.
Have you had a little look around the tables? Have you seen what the competition's like, or are you're none the wiser at this stage?
None the wiser, but I only got 800 kill points out of that game, so shouldn't be fighting the people that tabled other people, unfortunately. So we'll see what happens.
All part of the plan, yeah, Andy. All part of the plan.
All part of the master plan.
So I think Luke and Dan both got pretty high kill points, so you'll probably dodge those 2, which would be nice. But obviously, if you want to take the title home, they're the kind of caliber of players you're going to need to face, right?
Yeah, so I'll just beat them in game 4 or 5.
I love it. I know you well now, and the confidence just oozes off you. So obviously, Slaughter is something which must be a massive part of your calendar as a local player. What do you think is special about this event?
It's my club event. So it's nice. I won it a couple of years back as well, so I'd love to take the title again.
And that was with Fire Slayers as well, right?
That was with the old school Fire Slayers, where you swamped the board and gave nobody a chance to do anything.
And now you just kill everything.
Yep. Now you just do the same thing now. Yep.
Brilliant. Well, Andy, best of luck for round 2. As a Team Wales bro, I'll be rooting for him, obviously. So I think now we're ready to pass back to the boys in the booth. So Rob and Benjamin.
Thank you very much. What a great pair of lads. Yep. So, welcome back. I'm Rob, this is Benjamin, and we are covering 3 games, round 1 here at Sheffield Slaughter 2020. With an update, we're on table 2. That's what you're looking at. Ogre, Mawtribes, Nikos. Nikos just won the priority against a Blades of Khorne army. They've got 4 Blood Tithe points, and they've got 5 points as well in the bag. But that is a big 7-point difference.
Yeah.
Won the priority roll, though, Benjamin, and given the turn away.
Which is normally a good indication of being in a commanding position. If you can afford to not take the double, and then enables you to control the double, then I think it's a good position to be in. I think this Bloodthirster down at the bottom corner we heard is on very low wounds now because he took a bit of a kicking from the Mournfang before he took them out. And so his movement's reduced, so he hasn't gone very far there. He's going to be looking for a huge charge up here to get into those.
Yeah, really big. He really wishes he was Tzeentch, right? He could choose the dice at this stage.
Yeah, exactly. It's much easier to just do things rather than to chance them. While the rest of us chumps are stuck rolling dice. He's on the back foot, definitely.
He's 100% on the back foot. And also that points difference is going to really affect it. He's got this skull cannon. We saw one skull cannon do okay in the first turn, but then that went down. Because he's Bloodlords, he's able to reroll ones to wound, and that's what he used. He said it specifically that was really to help out those skull cannons.
Okay.
He really wanted them to do the work. So they're in amongst it. But there's just not enough wounds left on the board. Like, look at all these. These are Yetis. They've got a lot of wounds each. They're pretty decent in combat. They can pile in. They're just waiting to pounce. I picture that as being like a snowdrift.
Yeah.
And they're just waiting behind it.
Exactly.
Just eyeballs ready.
Avalanche.
Yeah, ready. Nice. I reckon Andy wants this to be a snow day. So that is... I think that's going to go Nick's way, realistically. That looks very much like it's...
I think that a Wounded Bloodthirster probably doesn't have the output to get through all of those Yetis there. He's not going to take that objective.
Not without them hitting him back. And they're decent in combat.
The Soul Grinder, can the Soul Grinder's base even fit through there? Or is he just stuck there? Because he can't fly.
He is on a ridiculous base. But I like that he's still alive, though.
Yeah.
He had a Frostlord and Stonehorn go into him.
Right next
but
to
he's
him.
still there, and he's absolutely doing it. Maybe we can see more... We can see more of these guys in the future. Who knows? Right, jumping quickly back to table 1, because I'm quite invested in finding out what happens on this game. As you can see, right there, Archeon has finally he's made the decision, and he's got into the Iron Drakes. But the big swing is the Shadow Warriors on the left-hand side
kill them.
Are dead. So he's gone and got that point for himself, which is actually shocking.
Yeah.
I hadn't expected that at all.
No, yeah. I'm impressed by that. He's got Destiny dice in his pool, obviously, so he can definitely get through some of those wounds. I'm not sure of the profile on the Fate Master's attacks, but he's on a Disc of Tzeentch. Disc of Tzeentch is quite good if he rolls the 3 on those attacks. That's 3 attacks doing D3 wounds at -1 rend. He's probably -1 rend and 2 damage himself on his halberd, so it's enough damage to it's enough damage to kill those Shadow Warriors and give him 3 points, which means Mark is going to score 5 in this turn. So he's going to go up to 6-4. If he can win the double, he'll potentially score another 5. I don't think Archeon's going to clear these
Iron Drakes. But once those Iron Drakes are gone, JJ's got no other threats on the board. That has to be the real issue.
Yeah.
Once they're out of here, JJ's got nothing left on the board, and then he's got these 10 pink horrors, but they're not really involved in the game anymore. He has.
There's a unit of 10 blues there.
10 unit of 10 blues. Summoned. They've just been summoned, so they are now on the board. They're not long for this world, but like you said, he's hold it. If he gets a priority roll, he's just going to get that as a bonus, and then be going into this even more. Well, so that's pretty scary.
I think what JJ needs to be thinking about now as well is those fate points and how, obviously you can see he's already used them there to an effect to get that objective back. And so if JJ does win the turn roll here, I would probably be considering not casting any spells at all, because you don't want to be giving him fate points, because Archeon will go through these Iron Drakes eventually. And if he does, as you say, he's light on bodies, he doesn't have any threats left, he needs to make sure that he is not casting spells so that he doesn't give Mark the option of summoning in the late game and taking this objective here. Yeah, I think JJ's in the position now where he needs to win this priority.
He really does.
Yeah,
he really does. But I think he played a strong first game. But like the problem is there was those two big threats with very high mobility and those Chaos Knights that were in the centre, as we talked about, and obviously that unit at the top. So ultimately, it came down to that list building stage and that Phoenix going in early. But I was amazed by the Knights being able to take that Phoenix out.
I was super surprised.
I think JJ's got to want to have them survive longer, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, he's obviously put it out there, thinking that they would survive. He's used it as bait, and I'd imagine he's probably trying to draw Archeon when the Phoenix was there. He's probably trying to draw Archeon out over into the Phoenix, but thinking that he doesn't have the output to kill it otherwise, which is what we both thought. So.
Right, so jumping over to table 3, we've just had a Demon Rift cast right there, as you can see, just here. So it's starting to do some mortal wounds. I get an update from our table boss, What? So it's taken off a Tyrant and a Lead Belcher, 2 Lead Belchers. So pretty solid. So there are 2 Ender Spells nearby. So there's one here. So
it'd be doing D3, and then there's one there. Look as well.
Yeah, the portal. So why is the Demon Rift so good, Benjamin? Like, what does it do? So endless spells. If you guys aren't aware, in Age of Sigmar, I know you guys are, but there are spellcasters who can cast spells, which we all imagine happening in our head. But there are also endless spells where you can cast them on the tabletop, and they're physically represented.
Manifests them into reality,
which is cool. I think.
On the board. Yeah,
when are we going to get to the
really
stage where we get Final Fantasy VII style Bahamut summons?
Yes, Guardian Forces.
Get them in my life.
Yeah.
So a Demon Rift is summoned, which is effectively a rent in time-space where chaos literally pours through and is physically on the tabletop. But rules-wise, why do you think it's so good? Why are we seeing them played?
So what it does is it moves 12 inches, which is a big way to move for endless spells. It's the longest an endless spell, the furthest an endless spell can move. And it does D3 mortal wounds on everything it touches, but then for every wizard or endless spell that's within 12 inches, it does an additional mortal wound. So as we can see, it's got the 2 endless spells in range there, so it's doing D3 plus 2 mortal wounds on everything. If there's I don't know, I can't see down there, but if there's any wizards in range of that, they will add another mortal wound as well. And so you can, it doesn't look like this list is designed around it, but you can definitely do builds where you can get up to sort of D3 plus 10 mortal wounds, even in Tzeentch. If you're using it in Tzeentch, or you're using it against Tzeentch, or you're using it against Hallowheart.
And that's not just one unit; that's just several units.
Every unit,
that it passes across.
And then the
Kabbalists.
The Kabbalists, they have a prayer which allows them to do D3 to move an endless spell. You do D3 mortal wounds on one of your own units, and then for every model that dies, you can move that endless spell 3 inches. So if he kills 3, it can move 9 inches in the hero phase. So then that could do that again. So you could double tap that spell and be doing D3 plus X amount of mortal wounds on everything that it touches. So especially against Mawtribes, where they've got a lot of wounds and no mortal they're big monsters with a lot of wounds and no mortal wound defense. That one spell could be taking out a unit of 3 gluttons a turn, or it could be taking out, as we've just seen, the Tyrant. It could even, if you can double tap that and get enough models in range, you could even be taking out some of the bigger models there, like the scrap launchers that are sitting on this objective over here.
Right, so we just had some information as well. We've heard, so the priority roll has happened, and Travis has won the priority roll in this game. And on a 1-1 draw. Ooh. I know, heartbreaking. Yeah. So what he's doing now is what you can see him doing is he's running off his own objectives, so making it so that Par doesn't have an objective to charge to. Yep. So what you can have is you can have your unit on the objective, your opponent can take his unit, charge on, and then go and grab it.
Kill them, like we've seen with the Fate Master and Shadow Warriors.
Exactly, like we saw on table 1. However, in this situation, what he's done is he owns the objective, he's moved away, so he's got to kill this unit, and he still doesn't go and claim the objective. So really smart play. And it means that he's really good. Travis is doing some excellent screening, playing a really solid game. Par is with his Ogre Mawtribes. Looks like he's up against it at the moment. Jumping over to table 1, back to our Archeon game. Mark is into those Iron Drakes, and all of those Iron Drakes, it looks like, are dead.
Wow.
Oh, sorry, there are 3 left.
Have we had the priority on this table yet?
So
JJ won the priority.
So JJ has won the priority roll.
Okay,
so
that's
going
massive.
Wow. Huge. So JJ's won the priority roll. The Hurricanum, which is located just there. Yeah, that's the Hurricanum. Yeah. yeah.
Is it a square base?
No, it's not. It's just got an odd. We'll get as close in a minute.
Okay.
So he's done a spell to the Fate Master, and that Fate Master is now dead. So all he's got to do is try and run a unit onto that objective, but whether or not he's going to be able to get a unit on there, that's going to be the key bit.
It's only worth 1 point to him there, though, isn't it, to JJ? So
I think that's going to be the game. Like, look, it's 10. Like, he wants this here. Like, Archeon's going to eat them anyway, so why not just retreat, score the points?
Yeah,
and,
I suppose so.
And you're there anyway. So, as you can see, the Gyrocopters, they're back. Those Gyrocopters are going to be absolutely hammering those blue horrors. That's going to be huge. So those blue horrors are going to be dead.
Yeah, he needs to kill those, I think, there, so that he can get the 3 points there. So then he's scoring at least 4. I don't know. I think the. I don't know. I wouldn't use them to go over there. I'd use them to come here and screen Archeon off.
But he's just going to. He'll just do the charge. Oh, I suppose no. Actually, can he even land here?
Yeah, and you can put the Hurricane in there, so then there'll be 1-1. So he can't take the objective because that's worth 3 to him now.
Yeah, that's a really good
point.
So
rather than going over there and taking that objective, it's only worth 1 to him. He needs to definitely defend that. But I mean, that might all be academic anyway, because does he have the output here to kill Archeon?
No. So
do you know how many wounds?
No, he's only got 3 Iron Drakes. Archeon has taken, and we'll find out how many wounds Archeon's taken in a moment. He's only taken 2.
Okay.
So he's not done anywhere near it. Okay, so yeah, he used his Nurgle head to heal D3 because he gets to heal D3 at a time. And then, as we've seen, the Hurricanum has used the bridge. He's moved over. Now, don't forget, the Hurricanum's got some incredible output as well. It's got 3d3 shots.
3d3 shots, yeah.
That potentially does D3 mortal wounds.
Yeah, on a 2-up. Yeah.
On a 2-up, so that could be 3d3 mortal wounds, but that's not going to be enough to take out Archeon.
No, he's got very good mortal wounds.
So I imagine he's going to put the pressure into, just to make sure, into the blue horrors.
Yeah.
Oh, and then that's again really clever play, hitting into the horrors, exploding them into brims with more bodies available for the Gyrocopters. Is going to finish them off with the Gyrocopters.
Yes.
Very good,
that's
JJ.
That's a really nice play. Yeah.
Really good. That's really interesting. Having to deal with that pink horror mechanic. So if you guys don't know, you probably do, but just in case, pink horrors, you can see it here. Or horrors now as they are, but they start with 10 pink horrors. When you kill one, you get 2 blue horrors. They split, and they're the same unit. And then if you kill them again, they turn into brimstone horrors. There's a problem with activating because, like, especially when you've got the number, because Gyrocopters, they've got a steam gun, so they boil things. And they pick a model, every model within 3 inches, and then they roll an attack for that many. That's how many attacks they make. So JJ being really clever with his
really good
activation.
As well. If you look up here at his play here, he's jumped the Hurricanum off here with the Iron Drakes, that's a threat. That is a big threat. The Hurricane, it needs to die. Mark doesn't have anything over here, but Archeon can't afford to go that way. But he's moved the tiny character here. Instead of jumping that over there to get that character out of the way, he's used that character as the last line of defense to this objective here. So he's just in there. Archeon's base is huge. He's not going to. I don't think he's got the movement. He's only got 14 inches. I don't think he's got the movement to clear that bridge to get here or here, which means that he's going to have to charge that character, which means that they still keep that objective. So he has just he's foregone this one to shore up the defense there. And yeah, we can see he's killed
those horrors. In the shooting phase.
So he's putting on the brims, but then obviously they're going to probably get shut off or charged here. If he can get this one, then he scores 14, goes 6 points up, but he stops Mark from scoring 3 in this turn with that character there, I think.
Yeah, I think really solid.
Yeah.
There's loads. It's a really fun game.
Really good play from JJ.
Yeah, really good.
All game,
really
yeah,
good.
really impressive.
I mean, he's super lucky he got this clutch priority roll going into this turn.
Yeah,
he's in
absolutely.
a solid place.
Yeah, that's huge.
Huge. But hello, Serafage, all the way from Greece. Hope you're well. Big love to you guys. Big love to everyone who's watching live. Thanks for joining us. This is round 1 of 5 rounds of Age of Sigmar coverage this weekend. So in the shooting phase for Tempest Eye, we are now into the gyrocopter shooting into the Brimstone Horrors, which are located here. And so he's not bothered. So he's not bothered to put them on because there are 17 Brimstone Horrors here. So he hasn't physically put them on for us. However, the gyrocopters, because they shoot as a unit, they've got 17 attacks each.
Yes, yeah.
They are so good. We should see JJ, big proponent of gyrocopters ever since the book came out. I know that for a fact. One time he ran the full 12. No. Yes, the full 12.
Oh, wow.
Which is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
180 points for 3 of them.
We've got a question in the chat here from Froggy Noddy 87. If he removes the horrors and spawns, if he removes the front horrors and spawns them at the back, it mitigates the steam guns. But it doesn't, because you have to bring horrors. The brimstones that come down have to come down within 1 inch of the model that was removed, and so the brims will just have to come in the same place to keep coherency, or in roughly the same place. He's got a few millimeters either way, but they're not going to get out of range of the gyrocopters. So yeah, that's 17 attacks each, which is 51 shots into a handful of blues and 10 brims. It's it's not going to. They're not long for this world, as they say.
Not at all. They're in a really tough spot. Okay, so jumping over onto table 2 to see how the Dungas are doing, and we've just found out that the Bloodthirster, who was looking to make the charge over onto this objective, he failed the charge, died, and then the Yetis came back for him, and the Bloodthirster is down.
He is down.
However, the Soul Grinder, who's still alive, hilariously, is...
It might be the lone surviving model over here.
He's the Soul Grinder of our hearts at this stage. Who doesn't love a Soul Grinder on the tabletop? Like, what the hell? So a consolidate, a pretty solid win, it looks like, for Nikos. Again, he's held this objective. He holds this. He's held that all game.
Yeah.
This Soul Grinder.
He's got a lot of stuff left as well. He only started the game with 15 Yetis. It looks like the majority of them are still alive. He's still got these 2 Mournfang here. Like, what has he lost? I think Nikos is... he's Stonehorn. And a unit of Mournfang there, a unit of Mournfang there maybe, but, he's still got 15 Yetis. He's still got a Stonehorn there who's just sitting at the back, waiting in the pocket. If anything gets through, that Stonehorn comes over and
we've just
takes
heard...
it off.
So we just heard the priority roll going into turn 5. So so that's a cool fact. So we just heard the priority rolls just come in. It's been a 3-3 priority roll, so both players rolled in a 3. Interesting fact about this game, Benjamin, every single priority roll has been a draw.
Wow.
They've always rolled a double 1 we've seen rolled, we've seen a double 3 rolled.
Yep, and Nikos gave away the first turn, had the choice of it, gave away the first turn. And so
gave
that
away
means
the third turn.
Gave away the first turn and the third turn,
yeah.
So it's kept him in control. Because those draws means that he is always going to be choosing on a draw. So he's won every priority on a draw, which has meant he's been able to control the double.
It's been huge.
And he hasn't taken it yet, I don't think.
No,
he looks like he's maybe taken it here. He's taken it.
Well, of course, he's just going to consolidate those points now.
Yeah, just to finish up here, I think.
So we're going to get those scores updated from our man in the field in a moment. But it's a pretty convincing win in a moment, I think, for Nikos on that table. That's making it real interesting. Right, in the game... I'm not 100% certain what's ever happened in this game. We're back with the Mawtribes versus the Kabbalists, and we are into turn 3 now, and we're finding out exactly what's happening with Simon's game. It's Simon's turn. He's active at the moment, and he's got his unit of. Are they
Iron Guts?
No, they're not Iron Guts. They're Man-Eaters.
Man-Eaters.
The unit of Man-Eaters here. They're looking to charge onto this objective, but it's been screened particularly well. there. Over on this side, this is all Kabbalists have got everything on that left hand. No, not Kabbalists.
They're the scrap launchers, aren't they? I think. Oh, okay. So they're the Marauders here who've retreated behind the scrap launchers, so they keep that objective. Obviously, the scrap launchers aren't going to take that back from them unless they can kill them.
But a pretty commanding lead at the moment.
15-3 to Chavis. It looks like Simon can probably score 2 points max, unless. What's that there? That's just an endless spell. So this unit of 4, maybe with a run, could get to there. Would put him on 8. If he could win the priority, then into 4, and these man-eaters can get onto there. He could. I mean, if he scores 5 this turn, and then gets the full 8 in the next turn,
then he could come back. But the main issue, I think one of the main issues that we're seeing here, we're hearing from our table boss, is all this MSU in. So you've got an endless spell blocking movement. You've got another little unit blocking movement. You've got another unit blocking this unit of 2.
I think that guy's. He's in a. That's a good thing for Simon. I think this guy here.
Oh, so he can charge.
Yeah, so he can move. He can move them like 6 inches here.
But then
he can charge, and then he only needs 1 model.
Oh, and there we go.
There you go.
We've seen the charge happen. So there's a really good shout. All of our lists have only. In fact, actually, I might now be able to get you the lists because they've come in. But you have to give me a moment, guys, because they all got handed in this morning. So I'll let you know as we go forward.
It's not over here. It's really not. I think if he scores this objective now, he should be able to kill these Marauders and get this one here with the scrap launchers. He's still got this one, and he'll score this one. So that's 5 points. He goes to 8,
which is pretty decent.
Why are these man-eaters not charged?
The money. Why haven't they charged? We're still in the charge phase. We're just waiting to see those charges come through.
Okay. The dice he was rolling with the impact hits. Sorry, I thought he started just rolling his.
Which is how do you feel about those impact hits coming in from the Ogre Mawtribes? We're going to see that a lot over the weekend. I actually we talked a little bit last night. I'm a big fan of trying to. I'm going to try and design some Blood Crusher lists using impact hits. I think it's a very cool counter mechanic to the activation walls.
Yeah, it's great against the activation walls. It's great against debuffs. It's definitely a viable strategy at the moment. I think going for impact hits. We saw Darren on the latest list diaries talk about the chariots list that can do all the mortal wounds. The crushers list we were talking about yesterday. Actually, there's a guy called Stephen Fellows who is here, and he's bought 4 of the Iron Blasters, and then he's using the spell that turns them into monsters on the charge, which is a list I've been wanting someone to play for ages. It looks really exciting. You've got 4 Iron Blasters shooting, then 4 Iron Blasters charging with impact hits on the 4+. And I imagine he's going to be using them as a little pack that you can charge in and just do insane amounts of mortal wounds from those 4 on the charge. And so it's a good tactic at the moment. It gets around a lot of the tricks and shenanigans that are dominating the meta. Yeah,
I agree. Right, so jumping back to table 1 to see how we're getting on. As you can see, this objective consolidated now by those gyrocopters. Those gyrocopters have done excellent work. That 180-point unit have potentially won the game. Yes, but Archeon now.
The bridge is gone.
The bridge is gone,
which opens up his movement. Archeon, I forgot, can do. He can just automatically unbind one endless or dispel one endless spell now. With one of his heads, which I guess is what he's done there to give him the movement to get Archeon. Although can he? But then this is the thing: can he get to there without being 3 inches away?
Well, and this is the biggest issue with these huge units that can do so well because he has to use his model to activate in the game. Like he has to go and fight. He has to go and play. There's a Hurricanum here. There's 3 gyrocopters there, so he has to go and be like, well, I have to go clear them. Problematically, though, all the objectives are all the way over here. And this unit, JJ can do a late game run in the right situation and go grab here, depending on how many fate points are available. But there are only 2 fate points, as you can see on the screen.
Does Archeon have the what Slaves of Darkness?
Well, so we just some quick update going over onto table 2. We've had a handshake. 16-8. Ogre Mawtribes. The Dungers are victorious.
Good.
Yeah, they. Yes, that's it. They've done good. That's what they've done. Yeah. So, 16-8, really solid.
Yeah.
Most importantly, the
Super
Soul
solid
Grinder
victory.
survived.
He survived. Yeah. He
That's
lived
what
to
we
fight
cared
another day.
about.
Mm.
Yeah, Soul Grinders making a comeback in Age of Sigmar. We're not saying that now. We're not calling it.
Don't call it.
Not
Don't
calling
call
it. We're not calling it a comeback. But so a pretty interesting game. We saw some very early, obviously, like aggression there, combat. We saw the loss of that skull cannon.
Yeah, he just played too defensively. Look at the end of the board state. He didn't have any models that. I mean, I think that Bloodthirster came to there and those came to there, but basically he's hasn't moved anything out of his objective zone or his deployment zone. Sorry, so he's moved a couple of units up there, but he hasn't challenged those objectives.
Yeah, absolutely.
Once, really. And then these two over here still in the deployment zone. So. Yeah, a very.
We're hearing that table 3. We're jumping back to table 3 now. We're hearing the game that might be over, but we're not certain who to. Obviously, it's 15-3 to Travis. It looks like
this Park can still do it.
We reckon. But Nathan Prescott is telling us he thinks that the game is pretty much over. Is that correct, Nathan Prescott? We'll find out that information in a moment.
Onto the back objective. Still zone. Objective is also threatened by the snaky boy.
So we apparently the Warcry models are all about it. So it looks like it's going to go Travis's way. 15-3, huge point lead. 12 points in it.
I don't know. I think if Par wins the double, he's got this one. He's got those two. So that's 5 points. He goes to 8.
Mm-hmm.
If these man-eaters kill those there now, which they probably will, he could get onto that objective, and then he would score 8. So then you score 5 this turn, go to 8, score 8, go to 16. But still, it means Travis has still got a point to score, but then it gives him choices. It
does give him choices. He's got
Par needs the double, but
are you
with
hopeful
the double
for the Mawtribes as well? Is this what you want to see? Oh. So the Iron Guts have taken out that unit in the centre here. They're dead. So that means they're going to be able to.
You know what? Despite the ball, I'm calling it now. I think Par's going to win this, even being 15-3 down. Yeah, I think because he doesn't have anything now to challenge this. Travis, sorry, doesn't have anything to challenge that objective. Are these alive down here? Those in the.
It's a great question. Right, jumping back to table 1 in the game that is grabbing everyone's hearts. Can young JJ hold on to his big lead? He's got that 8-point swing. Archeon still trying to make his decision.
Still
deciding. There we go.
Like
I reckon we could put Archeon's movement phase into like its whole own block at the moment. It's like at least 10 minutes long. That's how long we're seeing them. But he's finally decided to go in. He's committed. So he's going to be looking. So this is obviously only his turn 3. And that's pretty important because that early committal could have, by JJ, could have meant that he's not managed to last the game. He's going to lose probably the Gyrocopter and maybe the Hurricanum this turn.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then Archeon's got free ring. We've seen the Pink Horrors run into the centre now. They're looking to turn 4, if they can go grab there, they could go grab that objective. Looking for turn 5 over here potentially. But that again, if JJ gets lucky on that priority roll going into turn 4, he's going to keep this objective. I
think Mark has that one at the moment, actually.
Oh, he does, yes, correct. They're on the left-hand side. So he's only going to keep this. So actually, Mark might get that final big round 4, big round 5 point swing, and JJ might just have lost it to the veteran at this stage. I've enjoyed this.
Yeah,
like the Master and the Apprentice.
Yeah, both games look like they could come from really big points differences to big swing back into the underdog's favour here. And
think that's we forget that like games are often won in Age of Sigmar in turns 4 and 5, and I think because we're watching 3 games at the moment, we're watching so much Warhammer that we're forgetting that there's still a lot to play for in both games, and early leads don't often translate to major victories.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is it. Epic Savior in the chat being like, no, Cities, early game lead, but then they just lose it in the end. Actually, one of those things to talk about, Cities of Sigmar book's got no ability to do any late game summoning.
It doesn't have any late game play at all.
It's
really,
got no late game play, and we've seen some of the armies at the top that do really, really well. Obviously, Tzeentch and a bunch of other armies.
Anything with summoning or regen, anything that can just put bodies back on the board to score objectives in the late game is... it's super strong at the moment.
Really, really, really good. All right, so game 2's over. It was a big victory to Ogre Mawtribes, but will Ogre Mawtribes be able to bring back game 3? That's what they're looking at. They're looking to bring the pain here. Benjamin's very much rooting for them. He reckons those man-eaters in the centre can go grab the game.
Can do it. Par needs the priority, but if he can get that. He's got the 4 Iron Guts in the centre there, yeah. It's the 4 Iron Guts there. He's got the man-eaters there, which they should kill whatever they're fighting, I imagine. And then in the following turn, he can take this objective. He's already got this one. And he's got his own objective back here, which means he's going to score these 5 points here. And yeah. It's looking good.
It's looking very, very good.
Especially if he can win the priority and he can get this one and he can get this one, then Travis doesn't have the bodies on the board anymore to get them back.
Which is difficult.
Yeah.
Which is difficult. Yeah. Again, there's no late game summoning, but Par started with a whole bunch of bodies on the board. Now, talking about a man who's seen a lot of bodies already in his trips around Sheffield Slaughter 2020, is our hot man Owen. He's letting us know what's happening in the rest of the event right now.
Cheers, Rob. Yeah, there's lots of bodies out there indeed. There's lots of bodies behind the tables, and there's lots of dead bodies all over the tables. Looking across now, some results coming in. Probably, I'd say about half the field have finished their games and they're getting ready for some lunch. So let's have a little look at not only at the players that have got the wins, but also some of those factions. So have to say, a headline coming out of round 1 is that we've got a lot of good wins for the OBR. Keith Ball's OBR beat Tom Fretwell's Eels. We had a win for JP Stevens with his Bone Reapers against Tuggy. Obviously, reported it earlier, Andy Hughes with his Reapers won. And it looked as though there were several other wins around the hall there. So, yeah, Reapers doing the work in round 1. Plenty of our picks. I mean, these tiers do seem to have worked out. So Tom Waller with his Ogres, he got the win. He killed 60 Hearthguard Berserkers with 10 models. So props to him. Joe Purcell's Cities, the Pistolier spam, that got a win. Gabe Huddleston's Big War got a win against Steve Wren. James Tinsdale's Deacon got a win. And then looking through, Alex Bruce with a janky KO list, something to look out for. I'm going to keep the exact list under wraps, but I'm sure that we get to see it at some point. He played his clubmate Seb, his Deepkin, and got a turn 4 win there. Lee Bromley, he won on both the drinking and the tabletop part of their competition there. So he beat out with his Ogres, and a really interesting list from Declan McKittrick. Just had a chat with him. He's running Slaves to Darkness, Khorne, with lots of Slaves to Darkness units in there. He's got Chosen, he's got Lord on Manticore, lots of Chaos Warriors. They killed the Everqueen, took out Alariel, and got the win there against a really nice looking Sylvaneth list. Now, someone we haven't spoken about who's playing just behind me is Speckles. Now, he hasn't got much left. I'd probably say at this point he's the most underperforming Bone Reapers player. He assures me that he's up on the mission, but yeah, he's getting taken apart by Colonel Hunters and Dirthu at the moment, and he hasn't got many models left, which is great. but he assures me everything's fine. Rob's having a good old laugh in the booth about that one. So, yeah, we'll find out if Speckles does manage to get the win there. But, yeah, I think at this point now, we've got, the two games. From what I've seen, there's a lot of tense faces around table one with Mark and JJ. So I think it might be time to pass back to the two stream games. Rob's in charge, Benjamin's back in the booth. Here we go.
So Ben, welcome back. Owen, good stall in there for that last 5 seconds. Really proud of you. Listen, we're hearing Speckles is getting his ass kicked on the tabletop, and I just
amazing! Yes,
he was super proud. He's like, I'm tier 3, but no, he's going down, which is really exciting.
Excellent. And he's playing Sophie from WS10. That's,
he's playing. He is. He's
a rare sighting of a woman at the tournament, which is great, and winning as well.
Great job. So we're over onto table one. JJ has won the priority, which is huge for points, but in Mark's turn, we saw all 3 of the gyrocopters die, and we saw some wounds put onto the Hurricanum, which is really bad. I'm going to come back to that.
And there's a little guy here as well. Who's that?
Yeah. That's... And then Gemini's also killed the Rune Lord. And okay, and don't forget, because we're playing Host Duplicitus, this Hurricanum cannot retreat. We just need to find out what that unit on the right-hand objective is. We'll find that out in a minute. I just want to jump over to Game 3 very quickly. We've seen the priority roll happen, and it was
I asked him quickly to remove some of the bodies from the board, so it's looking
it looks a lot different.
It looks a lot different.
Yeah. So Travis... So Travis won the priority, but he actually gave the turn away. And the reason he did that was because he wanted to move Darkfire Demon Rift in order to threaten these ogres in the back objective. As you can see...
That's a really bad call.
Yeah, agreed. But I think he was looking to do this damage, which means... But if you look, the man-eaters didn't kill... over here, so they're not going to be jumping onto this objective. It's 15-8. It's very close.
Is that one model left in combat with the Iron Guts there as well? It is. Oh, okay, so maybe that isn't such a bad decision after all.
So this Iron Gut unit is held up. The Man-Eater unit is held up, and of course this unit is held up. Parr looking to try and grab these points if he's able to grab this. But even if he's held up for this turn, which is I think all that Travis can do because he doesn't have much left, even if all he's able to do is hold on, problem is going to be now whether or not he can hold on for enough turns to score the points.
So he's probably not going to get this one this turn then. And look, it's hard to set. Both models look so. Both armies look so similar in their base and styles. It's hard to see. But what's these 3? What are those 3 models there? I guess they're Slaves to Darkness.
Well, we'll find out in a moment.
We can find out.
We'll jump back to game 1. And you can still tell us, but we'll do that bit and you do that bit. All right. So in the hero phase, we've heard that the bridge has been cast, which is the only way that the Hurricanum, is going to be able to teleport across the bridge. Okay, so we've heard that he's actually used the bridge here. So he could have used the bridge here to take the Hurricane and take him away out of combat, but that's what he's not decided to do. Instead, he's cast the Soul Screen Bridge, as you guys can see there, and then he's taken his wizard that's on the Soul Screen Bridge, teleported across, grabbed the objective. So a really big play there in the ability to take that out. Over onto game 3.
So, just went and had a quick look at the table and came at the crucial time that he's actually just decided to retreat the Man-Eaters to score the 3 points this turn. They were obviously in combat there. He's ran around. He's managed to get a Man-Eater on. And so Parr is going to score the big 8 this turn, I think. As long as he can kill these 2 models here, which he should do, Parr is going to score 8, go to 16. It does... Ooh. I mean, Iron Guts here were previously in combat with the Sorcerer Lord. That as I was leaving the table, he just shot with the crossbow from the Hunter there. I don't know whether he's managed to kill that Sorcerer Lord and potentially opened up these Iron Guts for a charge over here, or whether the Iron Jaws have just killed him in combat. But obviously that does give Travis the bodies are here. He's got some. Well, it's a couple of the Warcry warbands. He's got enough bodies to just run back and take this up.
And the scrap launchers here. The scrap launchers. Woof. There you go. Freeing them up in combat. Some shooting. Who would have seen scrap launchers on the table as well?
Yeah. That's a big old distance away. That
48 inches on the scrap launchers. Yeah.
Wow.
Really good. I mean, their output's atrocious, but the range is good. They literally can throw rubbish really far.
Yeah.
It's in the name. So they were good against the Marauders, but they were the Marauders kept rolling those 5-up saves. So ultimately, and he's just pinked off a hero, so he's going to be looking to get onto those objectives. As we can see, he's now on here. He's on here. He's not going to be able to get onto there. But like you said, with enough turns, I just want to jump back to game 1 because I just want to point out. Because the thing that you didn't see while you were just away from the table, Benjamin, is here, teleport, wizard, score objective.
Oh, nice.
Another big late game play.
Wow.
JJ is just moving across the board. He's been so mobile from this kind of he's had this kind of center.
Yeah.
And from here, he's launched his units into the right places at the right time. It's just been making sacrifices left, right, and center to grab objectives and also giving Mark choices. Do you want to come and kill these 3 gyrocopters or do you want to kill the real threats? I think Mark's made the right decisions going after the.
He's kept himself in the game despite looking in a really bad position after losing that first turn 1 priority. But I love this play with the Soul Screen Bridge. I think that's one thing that people don't really take into consideration when they put that in their list. You think about the early game possibility of moving big units, big shooting units around.
You mean the one thing people think about?
The one thing.
The one thing. I'm going to do one spell, move over 2 units of 30 shooters, and that is all I will do in Warhammer.
And then that's it. Yeah, exactly. But when I was playing my Stormfiends list that was centered around the bridge, it's got so much potential for late game for cheeky little moves like that. And often the Stormfiends and the Acolytes will all be dead. But I'd be doing this exact kind of thing with the Warlock Engineers that were left on the table, bouncing them around through the bridges and then dispelling it again, and he could potentially bounce over here in the next turn if he dispels it and then score that home objective for 3. So there's lots of little tricks that you can do, and it gives you loads of mobility, and you can just be like he is here, taking objectives with one model, just bouncing around the table.
So we've just heard now that JJ scored those 2 points. That's going to put him on 16-11. So there's all to play for. Mark though able to kill the Mark able to kill the Hurricanum in the top right hand objective, because obviously Mark is playing Host Duplicitous, and the special rule, so that's his special sub-faction for his Disciples of Tzeentch army. Special rule there is you aren't able to retreat out of combat from that army. It's really big in the game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a big model to lose at this stage in.
Yeah, because he wasn't able to retreat. He's just in there. He's in combat. Normally, you just retreat out, but he's just there. I'm going to pin you down and attack. And obviously, something he
can retreat with the bridge, but he's used the bridge to much better effect over here to get the wizard onto the
16-11. That's going to be 5 points in it. Mark
with 2 turns to score.
Yeah, 2 turns to score. Mark's got to try and grab this. He's got to try and grab that. He's got Archeon who can go over there this turn. JJ would have liked the Hurricane to stay alive, so that Mark's locked in combat. But I think it wouldn't have been around for very long, realistically. We still need to find out what that unit is on the right-hand objective. But I think our intern is on it.
The intern.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I mean, it must be a Tzeentch model. Is it a Sorcerer Lord, maybe?
Oh, so on table 3, good. Table 3, we have a handshake. We're going to find out what the information is here. Pa has won the priority.
My man.
So you can now take all the objectives. Yeah. There you go. You said it was going to happen. You called it.
Even from being 15-3 behind.
There we go. Big handshake. Congratulations. Well done.
Oh, excellent.
Well done. And off to the bar for a drink. Both Andy, I got to tell you, both Travis and Simon played a cracking game. That was very cool.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a commentator's curse, he says. It's all that quality zoned out. He said, was it enough when the commentators can be heard too close to the table? Which is fair.
Oh, really?
I'm joking.
Oh, no.
Anyway, Anyway, big news. We're going to go over now to table 1. So it's only this. The game that I thought would be over quickest.
After turn 2, we both thought that this game was going to be over. So it's gone on the longest.
Yeah, it's so close. Chucklebutt in the chat rooting for JJ for the feather. He's wearing his Scribes of War t-shirt. He's very keen. He's looking for all the hot guys. I'll tell you what's able to give us just live updates now of what's happening. It's the only game going on. So we're in which phase? So we're in the Tzeentch hero phase.
Mark's turn 4.
Mark's turn 4. He's got 6 fate points left, but that's still not enough to summon anything, which is what he's going to look now to do to generate units on the board. So he's not got the ability to do any summoning. So he's healing another wound himself, so he is back up on wounds, so he's doing really, really well. Archeon isn't dead, but JJ's just sacrificed his army to never. He hasn't even targeted Archeon once. He's done him with a couple of spells. He's done him with a couple of shots, but he hasn't intentionally.
No, and that's often the way to play against these big, brutal characters like that. Is just to ignore them. Archeons and Nagashes and. Yeah, those big godlike characters, often you don't have the output to be able to kill them, or not without focusing fire and overcommitting, and so
then letting the rest of the army play.
Yeah, just killing the bodies, taking the objectives.
So Archeon's running. Archeon's doing a run at this stage. Look, it's 5 points in. It's super tense. It's very close. He's going to the middle of the board. Now we just need to find out what that unit is on the right-hand side objective, please.
Is he doing that? So that he's within 6 inches of this unit of pinks. So
or is it Geminids?
Then he can change that run. He can change that run to a 6.
So this is a Chaos Sorcerer Lord. We're finding out. That's what's holding that objective on the right-hand side. There we go. It's very, very close. So thank you very much for that. Chaos Sorcerer Lord on that right-hand objective. The pinks are running, but use it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why he's ran Archeon over there, so that he's within 6 there, so that he can run them 12.
Yep. But they're still not close enough.
They're not on the objective.
They're not on the objective.
They can't run and charge.
He needs the priority roll.
So he's going to score 2 points here and get 13.
He needs the priority roll. If the priority roll happens, Archeon's going to be able to come in here, attack these, get this objective. This is the late play. Here, the horrors go over. They just outscore. Then he gets the Yahtzee and he wins the game. If the priority roll goes the other way, JJ's just able to score here, which is good. It's 13-16
going into priority. JJ's rolled a 4.
JJ's rolled a 4. Mark's rolling.
Mark's rolling.
He's got a 4.
It's a draw.
It's a draw. JJ gets
wins.
to choose.
Oh.
JJ wins the game. JJ wins the game. He gets to choose. Oh my God. So when the draw happens, if you guys don't know, on the priority roll, both players get to roll to see who goes next. Rolling, when you both roll a draw, whoever went twice means whoever just went.
Wait there though, it's not completely over. If JJ can only score these 2 points, he goes to 18, and Mark could score 8 in the last turn and go to 19.
So it's 19-19.
No, 19-18 it would be.
19-18.
So what can JJ do here?
Can he do another bridge? He's only got the one wizard.
No, he can dispel. Oh,
he can dispel and cast. You can't unbind and then cast.
No, you sacrifice a spell to unbind. So if he's only got one wizard, he can't unbind it.
Oh, we're so sorry. We got so excited, everyone. Yeah. We got so excited.
So he can't do that bridge move down to here. Okay.
Come on, is there a unit? What's in here? There's a Geminids. Get me a unit.
Oh, isn't there,
Cities, get me a unit.
Is there 3 Iron Drakes down there? But they're not going to be able to.
No, they're dead. They were there earlier. They're dead. Is there any other units apart from that wizard and those 5 horsemen? So he can't win. 5 Pistoliers. They can't win.
Oh, no, they're not.
The only thing he could do...
He needs to stop Mark from scoring one of these 2 objectives.
So what he could do is he could take the Pistoliers here, move, create a line, charge, and then just do a line like this, so that they can't retreat around him. Yeah.
That looks like what he's doing as well. Look,
Yeah. So that's the only. That's his only play. So he needs a really big charge because he needs to lock off As I said, he needs to lock off this bottom element here so that this unit can't retreat around and go score the objective. That's the plan, and then he holds onto this and denies. Problem
he
is,
wants to not be killing any of those as well. So you want to tag them there with one model, and then have the rest of them outside of 3. So you're only fighting with one model because you don't want them starting to split and coming around.
the big issue is Archeon coming over, doing the hit.
Archeon needs to score that objective.
Oh yeah, Archeon has to do this. He has to go there.
How many fate points has he got?
He's got 6 fate points. He's
So he
only
hasn't-
got 2 casts, 3 casts on the pink horror. That's 9 points. Can you summon anything for 9?
I don't think so. I think the minimum is 10.
I think the minimum is 10. Yeah. Here we
think
go.
so.
It's very close. So
if
he's
anyone in the chat knows if you can summon anything for 9.
so JJ actually tried to cast a spell. But
which
he
shouldn't have
failed
done,
it.
because then that would have given him
Given him the
7,
fate
and
point.
then he Archeon could have cast 2. Sorcerer Lord could have cast 1 and given him the 10 points.
Yeah. So
But I don't think Mark needs it at this stage.
I think he does. I think, like you said, Archeon has to go up, so it's just on those pink horrors to take on that bottom. They're not going to be able to. No, he doesn't want to do this, because what the horrors can do is they can clear these in the shooting phase and make the charge in the charge phase. So
Yeah, he needs to charge here, doesn't he?
but he wants. Oh, is he looking to hold up with the wizard as well and give him nothing to charge in here? So he's giving himself the double charge opportunity. But then they're going to run off, aren't they?
No, he's not. He's measuring 3 between there so that horrors can't move through there. Yeah, he's doing everything he can here, but I
don't think it's going to pull off. It's so close points-wise. He's done great. I mean, he's been super lucky. He's got those 2 priority rolls going into this round. So, he's been in a very solid place. But truth be told, JJ is now shooting at the horrors we're hearing. With the Pistoliers, looking to... Yeah, not shooting, that's the right decision.
I can see a 1. I can't see the other
I
dice.
can't see the others. It's not good enough. What's he rolled? He's decided not to shoot because that's the right decision. And
yeah, it's exactly the right place. Someone in the chat, M. Austin Power, said if JJ charges the back, then the horrors pile away from the objective, but the Pistoliers don't have no retreat. So then if he did that and charged here, and then they pile away, he just runs over here, just retreats, runs, and gets onto the objective there. I think what JJ has done here, he's created a little 3-inch gap there, so the horrors can't go through there, and he's created a 3-inch gap there, so you can't move within 3 inches of an enemy model, even at any point during your movement phase. So the horrors would need to get round to here. So I don't know where the distance, that might be more than 12.
It's very close.
Yeah,
very
it's
close.
very
Whether or not he can get
tense.
onto the objective, our table boss will let us know. And the reason is because if he's able to get onto that objective on the left-hand side, he's going to win the game.
He'll win 1918.
In 1918. If he doesn't, it's going to be. It's not going to be the very famous film 1917 that we've heard much of recently. It's actually going to be 1817. Yeah, the beginning of the Napoleonic Wars. So really, the question is: we've got war in Europe, but which century is it happening in? Yeah, there's a bit of history for us all in this tense time. Right, Benjamin, who do you want to win? That's the real question. Twitch chat, who are you interested
I am a
in?
big fan of Mark. I really, really like Mark.
Incredibly
Got a lot
nice
of time
guy.
for him, but
Lot of heart.
Yeah, exactly. But you do like the story of the underdog.
You do like the story, especially the young underdog. That's why we put him on the stream, right? Yeah, JJ put a tweet out yesterday. He's like, "This is the winning list for Sheffield Slaughter."
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
did the big tweet.
Big fan of
Big
that.
fan. I like
big
it.
fan of those.
He's coming with the energy, and
Yeah.
you need that. Like in any sport, and you watch any professional sport, they come with the big winning energy. You do the same thing in a tournament, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Every time, yeah.
Yeah. You go in to win, eyes on the prize.
Yeah.
And I think JJ's done it. So we're back in the game, and back in the game, the Pistoliers have only killed 2 horrors. He's looking to pile in. He hasn't able to get around long enough on that, which means they're going to 100% be able to run in. Host Duplicitous, though, they're able to. While you can't retreat from them, they can retreat from you. They can retreat from you. A super strong sub faction that's really scary.
Yeah.
OMG.
Froggy Noddy in the chat has thought of a different way out. He could have bridged that wizard back over to here, and then if the Pistoliers didn't move, Archeon couldn't have taken that objective on his own. But then it would have been 18-18, and JJ would have lost.
But it would have been a minor loss.
It would have been a minor loss, yeah.
Yeah.
If he did that.
Yeah, everyone in the chat, obviously Mark, as well as being now AD is retired. Shut up. This can't be possibly true. We have just heard some infield reporting from us. We're going to report this we're going to report this. Right there, there's a man called Trog. And he is running with hashtag TrogLife. He's running only Trogs. And we're hearing he's just killed a bunch of people. What? Benjamin's listening while we tell you live. What's just happened is Change Host has just lost to Trogs. That's right. Oh, he hasn't lost yet, apparently.
Okay.
Apparently, no.
Are you reporting for Vegan TV?
Yeah, we just the organizer of Bobo 2020, who's very excited about us.
That is the prize for the best vegan player at Bobo.
Okay, so the best vegan player wins a leather cup. That's very informative. We're just hearing. So let's go back to our game one.
Okay.
And we're here. Yeah. Let's go find out what's happening. Sorry about this. Yeah, nerf those Trogs. Trogs winning. Sorry to disrupt the game, but that's a very exciting bit of infield news, right? Hot
Absolutely.
goss.
Hot from table 3.
Yeah, hot from table 3. We're into these dying moments of this game. It's all about this. Like you were saying, there was the potential here to take this out. Very tense.
Yeah, but I think it looks like it's Mark's now, doesn't it?
Mark had a 1 in his Destiny last week, so you summoned the 2 horrors back in.
Oh, that's and.
Now within
Okay, so Mark, in this little combat down here, Mark had a 1 left in his Battle Shock dice, so he summoned these extra 2. And JJ's obviously measured this out well. You could see him doing all of the measuring, so he wouldn't have been able to get the horrors over onto here to score, but he's used the 1 to activate the banner, brings back 2 horrors. Sorry, I'm making a big mess there. He brings back these 2 horrors here, which tag onto the end of the unit, so now he can just run round and get round that sorcerer who was blocking him off. So it looks like that'll be a 19-18 victory to Mark in the dying plays of the game.
Dying plays.
Yeah.
He's actually gone and got it. But JJ's played an absolute blinder,
Fantastic
right?
game, yeah. Really, really well played.
Yeah,
Really impressive stuff there.
That is so impressive, and an incredible final showing in those points. Well, just for a first round. Now, obviously, that's the first round of the Sheffield Slaughter 2020. First time we've done the 3-table coverage.
Yep.
So there's a lot to learn, but it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
But lots happened, right?
Lots happened, yeah. We saw 2 games that looked like they were over. In sort of like 15-3, Par was 15-3 down. He came back to win the game. Mark was 10-2 down at the end of turn 2. He's come back to win the game. So it's just a beautiful demonstration of how in Age of Sigmar you just never give up. You always play to the end. There's always outs. There's always big plays to make. There's always a chance.
That also tends to be one of the ways that the armies that really go aggro turn 1 tend to fall down, where it's that late game turn 4-5 scoring that ends up tipping it over the balance. I think so. I was talking to Donaldinho all the way back in Northern Ireland at the Exploding Dice venue. He never likes to commit those big threats early. He just waits off a turn because he knows when he puts them in, it's going to take you 2 or 3 turns to clear him. And if he does that in the right situation, that's all points to him. There's a lot to be said. The best bit really about Age of Sigmar has got to be the objective-based gaming. We're playing our armies in this other environment, and it's all about scoring that really it takes a toll. Okay, I think that's everything that happened. Really exciting games. We've got rounds 2 and 3 coming back. We'll come back in a minute, but as a quick roundup, Owen is going to let us know what happened in the rest of the round 1 here at Sheffield Slaughter 2020.
Cheers, Rob. Yeah, everyone's breaking for lunch now, so I've just got a last few results for you. There are still a few games still going on into lunch. It's overrun somewhat. But, the game that I had my eye on and one that I picked Mike Stewart versus Max Barton. That was a real humdinger. Mike, obviously from the Bucks Wargaming Collective. I overheard at the end of the game, Max was saying that was one of, if not the best games of Warhammer he'd played. And he was very gracious in defeat because Mike Stewart's Fire Slayers beat out against Max Barton's Eels. A really great result, and he was very complimentary about the level of Mike's play. Couple of other quick ones. We had a late win for Nigel Barham with his Tzeentch against James Hobbs. Speckles finally pulled his socks up and got the win against Sophie Smith there. And one of the nicest guys in the room, Nick Thompson, with a really interesting cities list. He's got Iron Drakes in there, Flagellants, I think he's got some Demigriffs. He got a win against another Eels player. So I think, unsurprisingly, some of the last games to finish as I look around are Tzeentch. So we've still got a few of those Tzeentch results to come in. But yeah, I think big winners for the round, people playing armies such as Cities, Ogres did really well, OBR did really well. So yeah, we're all going to have a little bit of lunch now, I think. We're going to have a sandwich, have a little sit down, catch our breaths. And yeah, I'll just hand you back to Rob, and we'll see you in round 2. Thanks a lot.
Okay, welcome back. It's been a delight, Benjamin.
It has indeed. Rob,
massive shout out to our table boss, Mr. Nathan Prescott. Another huge shout out to the intern, Owen, and of course, Tom doing the stats. We'll be coming back soon. We're going to be coming back with some meta stats of what's actually attending the event. Now we've had all the lists in. That's all been compiled for us, so excited to find out what the most popular armies are here. But it looks like a lot of Stonehorns.
Yeah, Mawtribes, big meta percentage at the moment, aren't they? They're up at like 8-9%.
It's a super cheap army to go and grab.
Yeah.
Like, it's a couple of £100, put it on the tabletop, and it's a great laugh.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
Exactly, yeah.
So join us then. Join us in about an hour or so to find out about that. We've obviously got another 3 games. Really exciting. Let us know what you want. You can tweet the tSports Network. Let us know who and or what sort of armies you want to see. I know for a fact I'm excited about seeing John Dale repeat performance. Took his Skaven last year, invented the Stormfiend meta, and then he's back again this year, which is exciting. Trog we might see on the tabletop as a victor. Yeah, having just defeated a change host, can he defeat 2?
Yeah.
There's loads to play for. It's really exciting. You guys, thanks for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed it. Benjamin, you've been great.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys soon. Goodbye.